What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. If you've been here before, I'm NeonMushroom, and today we're going to be playing the, we didn't stream this, so this is the first time I've actually only recorded and not streamed the thing that you're seeing first. But we're doing the Magic the Gathering Online Premodern Challenge 32, and I'm going to walk you through the deck that I'm playing really quick. This is going to be blue-white TideStill. This is very heavily inspired by, what is it? MTG Crack. I think his name's John. He got like top 4, top 8 at Lobster Con. It was a really cool list. This is very close to that. I made some changes based on a few different people's lists. There's nothing really crazy to see here. We're just going to be looking at 26 lands, all great lands. Standstill is what this deck is based off of. This is very much TideStill. It has the Parallax Tide combo, but we're doing like Adarkar Wastes, Coastal Tower, Flooded Strand, and a Skycloud Expanse as our dual lands, plus 4 Mishra's Factories, and a single copy of Conclave as our man lands, one of our win cons. And then we got Dust Bowls, basics. It's very simple. We're doing the normal swords to Plowshares, Counterspell, Mana Leak, Wrath of God, Decree of Justice, Humility, Factor Fiction package. But we also have the Parallax Tide plus Chain of Vapor, Stifle, and where is he? Seal of Cleansing, combination of like combo cards in the main board. And what that lets us do is just exile all of our opponent's lands. It's going to make some matchups that were like really hard to win before. It's going to give us a line against those matchups. Then in the sideboard, we've got typical sideboard cards. This list is in the description, obviously, so just go check that out if you want to, so you can follow along. But a playset of Exalted Angels is like something I'm really into. I can't remember the name of the player. You know what? Let me just find it right now. I'm going to butcher this. I'll put it on the screen right now as well, so if I butcher it too bad, you'll know. But Alessandro Galli. I'll also be using bits of his sideboard guide that was really well written. I would highly recommend looking into getting that for yourself. But this is the deck. We're going to play this through the challenge, and we're going to see if we can have a good record and see what happens. All right, first matchup, and I'm on the play. Love to see that. Okay, let's take a look at this opener. We don't have a Standstill, but we've got good mana, good interaction, a way to recoup card advantage, and a way to get on the board. I really like this hand, so we will keep. All right, we're just going to open on, I know we could draw Counterspell with this Mana Leak. I actually feel very safe just getting a Plains into play. If I'm playing against Dreadnought, there's a chance I was supposed to get Flooded Strand into play. But on the chance that I'm not, I like to have the Plains in play and the ability to get blue-blue. That's an island, so this very well could be Dreadnought. Pretty happy with my hand if that is the case. We draw a Flooded Strand. I think what I'm going to do is I will get the Strand into play now. That way if my opponent goes for the Dreadnought combo, they do have to tap out. Also, if they opt here, I will just fetch in response. I'm going to be very, very skeptical about like fetching too soon. Seal of Cleansing. We don't care about that. That's just fine. This might be Parallax Replenish. It could just be a straight up mirror match. Now that I'm not worried about Stifle, I think I will probably just leave this on crack still. We'll just untap and draw. This Seal of Cleansing does make my mana a little bit awkward, because not my mana, but it makes this factory awkward, and it makes my deck a little awkward because I can't just like play out my Standstill, but I think that's okay. We'll take this moment to just get basic island into play and pass Adarkar Wastes. I'm starting to think this is a mirror since we haven't seen a soul land or a, they usually play like 4 copies of Skycloud Expanse. So this could very much just be a straight up mirror, which means I'm going to start F6ing aggressively because time matters like a lot. Also, I love that I have 2 land drops wrapped up because this matchup can really be decided by who misses the first land drop as well. Take a draw for turn. Not going to bother playing out the factory until I like am able to tide combo them, or if I have my own Dust Bowl. Because the Mishra's man lands are super naked in this matchup on both sides if this is in fact the mirror. Because we both have like 1 to 2 copies of Dust Bowl. So playing those early can put you in a really hard spot. Opponent makes 4th land drop. I am not going to pull the trigger on the Factor Fiction first. We'll just untap and draw. It's a Wrath of God. That'll be dead, but we're happy to keep making land drops. Opponent doesn't move. I was expecting a Factor Fiction. If they had Fact plus City. Now I think it's Parallax Replenish. Tapping for 4. They're going to Frantic Search first. This is actually fine. This deck doesn't typically play hard Counterspell, so we can actually play around. It depends on how they go for things here, because they're actually going to start stacking mana with the City of Traders, but they can pay for the initial mana leak, so I don't want to use my only point of interaction here. Also, if our opponent doesn't get anything meaningful into play right this second, we are going to fire out the Factor Fiction just to try to trade for any piece of permission our opponent might have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another Frantic Search. Stacking up more mana is just fine. We see the wave hit the bin, but luckily no tide yet, so that's actually quite good. Although if they go for the tide, they can play around the mana leak super easy. So we're going to... I'm glad I have 2 uncracked Flooded Strands. We might be able to recover from the first Tide if it happens. 1, 2, another Frantic Search. Intuition is fine. If they go for a Parallax Tide, I can counter it. They're showing me Opalescence, and Parallax Tide. I can, in fact, Mana Leak or Replenish right now. I think I just need to give them the Opalescence. Let's see, if I give them Parallax Tide, what do? They can like replenish, only leaving 1 mana up, so that's pretty good for me. It's unlikely that they have a second Frantic Search, so yeah, I think I'm going to give them the Opalescence here. We need this Factor Fiction not only to resolve, but to get us a critical mass of like permission. Looks like they're using their mana. They're casting Replenish. Interesting. I have Mana Leak. I'm surprised they just played into that hard. They must have second Replenish. I can't do Factor Fiction right now. I think what I need to do is just take a draw. Hopefully it's a piece of permission. Our Wrath of God is about as bad as it gets, but we have the chance to let them do stuff, and then before the Replenish resolves, Factor Fiction to either try to find, if they don't make mana, like land drop, Mana Leak, and if they do, Counterspell. So when we do go to cast it, we need to make sure to leave the correct mana up. Attunement is actually not on my short list of things I care about. Their graveyard's already pretty stacked, and Attunement deals in card disadvantage. They're passing, so what I think I need to do here is actually fetch once. I'm going to get Island Plains. Actually, I'm going to get Island. I just lied to you. I want to leave a Plains in my deck for if I do get Tide comboed. Island. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and see if they have Mana Leak. Here's a fact or fiction. All right, we got Tide. They can't give me Tide and Chain of Vapor, so that's great. Okay, they give me Mana Leak, Chain, Adarkar Wastes, and a Tide. As much as I'd love to take the Tide, I would be putting 2 combo pieces in the graveyard, so I think I'll take Big Pile. And then I will just untap. No reason to do anything right this second. Another Adarkar Wastes. We'll play it, and then we're going to go to discard. We're going to pitch Swords to Plowshares, I think is the right one, probably. 2. No, luckily, cool thing. Do they have Seal? Not a cool thing. They have Seal of Cleansing in the bin. This doesn't work the way that I need it to. They're tapping for 4. Are they just going to like jam Replenish into a known Mana Leak? Yeah, the fetch is like fine. Or are they going to like jam Opalescence? I guess that opens me up to being able to like Wrath of God. Or I could just like chain the Opalescence is probably actually a touch better. Okay, here's a land. So now they can play around Mana Leak pretty good. Yes. They're tapping for 6 total. What's going on here? Here's an Opalescence. Okay, we don't actually care about Opalescence. That's fine. They lost their City of Traders to do that. Such a weird sequence. I mean, I can actually like block Seal of Cleansing now. I don't know if I need to. I think I'm just going to like bounce Opalescence. Chain of Vapor, Opalescence. Okay. End step. I mean, let's get some bodies in play. Cycle this. 1, 2, 3. No response. Make 3 dudes. Draw some permission. Humility. Not quite what I'm looking for. Untap and draw. Counterspell is exactly what we're looking for. So we need to turn the corner. So we are now, I don't know if no, I'm not going to feed them to Seal of Cleansing. I'm just going to go to combat, attack for 3. And then there's like a non-zero chance that, well, I think we can try to hold out to draw Parallax Tide. I was thinking maybe I'd bounce the Seal of Cleansing to get him for more beats, but I've got 2 pieces of permission and they lost their, there's another Opalescence. See, I still don't care about that. That happens. Combat is also fine. Are we in a world where I can Humility? What layer does that go on? I think I'm just taking these beats. I'm going to see what happens if I jam Humility, because those things are creatures and my Humility will also be a creature, but it'll lose. All right, for Science, this isn't a great place to be doing this for Science, that is, because I'm playing a league, but I'm going to see how this Humility interacts with Opalescence. MtGO hopefully won't just crash on me, because I've got Counterspell wrapped up still, and I've got a third Counterspell. We're going to go white, whatever, Humility. Does this just make them all into 1/1s? Does my opponent know what happens? They're all 1/1s, and my Humility also doesn't have the... That's so weird. Go to combat. But now they can't pop their seal, so next turn I can start attacking with Factory too. End step, you're up. I can also just like trade this Humility with the Seal of Cleansing if I need to. They go to combat. They can't win this race. Attacking seems really... Okay, what do I know? I'll take 2. Like, I win this race by like a substantial amount. All right, I guess I just win? Attunement? I'll like Mana Leak that. My go, I guess. Untap, draw. Skycloud Expanse. They can't sack this because it doesn't have that ability, so I guess I'll turn this on and get in. Beep, beep. I think that's all she wrote. Maybe the opponent doesn't really understand how to play the Parallax Replenish deck. I'm not sure. All these lines seem super loose to me. Combat, yeah, you can't attack, I don't think. Okay, 1, 2, you're dead to lethal if you attack with everything. I'll take 1. What? Replenish? Not a chance in hell. End step, I'm not going to bother chaining because they'll just copy. I'm just going to untap. I'll draw something good, just a Coastal Tower, no big deal. I'll activate this, and then we'll get busy and force them to block with their 1/1 Attunement. I guess we'll like save the humility and just attack with these. They trade with a 1/1. They go to 2. Okay, we'll play the Coastal Tower out and we'll ship the turn. All right, they concede. We're going to game 2. All right, real quick before we can actually play the game, I do want to walk through why I'm sideboarding the way I am and how I am. This sideboard plan, I did have my own agenda, but I'm looking at the guide here that I plugged at the beginning. I actually like this plan quite a lot. It only differs from mine by 1 or 2 cards, but I like getting completely off of Wrath of God in this matchup. It's almost textless. Humility doesn't look super duper strong. There it kind of like saved us, but we don't want to be in that position to begin with. Then we're going to lose 2 swords because outside of the Exalted Angels our opponent might bring in, it's going to line up very poorly. Annul, Tormod, Crypt, and Exalted Angel are just a clock and 4 cards that are very good. So we're bringing these in and we're going to hop into game 2. All right, this opener on the draw contains no colored sources of mana. So this is like a really easy mulligan. This one has Fact or Fiction, Parallax Tide, 4 lands, Exalted Angel. We could get a little bit risky and try to keep this. Our opponent, did they keep 7? They did. If we go too deep, we look at the potential of just running out of gas. That said, we're on the draw. I think we can take 1 more mulligan to have 1 piece of interaction, especially since our deck contains the card Standstill. I want to try to leverage that. So we're going to mulligan once more. And this hand has land, Annul. What do we keep? We're keeping this hand for starters. So we're going to keep both of our colored sources. We're definitely keeping Counterspell and Annul. We're definitely shipping swords. So it's like, do we keep Decree or Mishra's Factory? I think we need to make every land drop. So we'll keep Annul, Counterspell, Island, Plains, Mishra's Factory, and hope to naturally draw 2nd blue source. And I'll be feeling pretty okay. Hopefully our opponent doesn't get an aggressive angel in play. Just an Adarkar Wastes and a pass. Great. Untap draw. It's a Seal of Cleansing, which is actually good. We'll just pass. Skycloud, you got your own seal. 1, 2. Defense Grid. I don't think they can do anything super meaningful next turn. So since I'm on such a low amount of resources, I think I'm going to take a little chance here. Let this resolve. I'm just going to seal the Defense Grid. I think that's going to be my plan. We'll take an untap, a draw. Standstill's quite good here. I could also just play the Standstill and hope they can't win on the spot. Then next turn, seal the Defense Grid and hold up Annul. As long as they can't set their graveyard up super deep, that could be pretty good. I think since I'm a little behind right now, I'm interested in taking some chances. Yeah, I think that's actually not the worst idea. We'll go with the Plains. Oh, I really need to... Yeah, I need to draw 2nd blue source as well. What could they do? They could go Soul Land, Fact or Fiction... Not Fact or Fiction. The other one, Frantic Search, and then wind up with a Replenish, and that completely messes me up. But my alternative is to like play Standstill, and if they have that, they still win. So yeah, I think the play is Standstill, because they're going to win if they have the win either way. But if I get Standstill in play, if they don't, I will have... Although, that said, I can't Seal of Cleansing if I Standstill. What an awkward spot. We're going to seal and pass. I'm glad I ran through that out loud in my head, or out loud to you as well, I guess. They tap for 2. They're a 2nd Defense Grid. That's brutal. Okay, well, I've already got this seal in play, so I guess now I'm just going... Ooh, they missed a land drop, though. All right, I've got another idea. 1, 2, 3. Morph this face down, and then just pass. If they keep missing land drops, we'll just stand still, and when we get the mana, we'll flip the Exalted Angel. We'll put the onus on our opponent to do everything. A 3rd Defense Grid, sure. Defense Grid doesn't do very much if you're not doing your game plan, dude. Come on. All right, we're going to go colorless blue. Here's my Standstill. Go to combat. Like, they're just not making land drops. So if I can flip this angel, that might just like be good enough. We'll see. They're just passing. So draw white source. I did. We're going to go get one. Our counterspell is effectively dead anyway. So white source, flippy the angel, and then put you on the, what is this? You can go to 14, 10, 6, 8, 5 turn clock. Well, if opponent's not drawing anything, that's a reasonable clock. 2. If you're casting a spell, you're going to pop this Standstill. You're not doing anything. Okay. I draw a counterspell. That's just dead weight in my hand. We'll just attack for 4. You know, realistically, that was kind of stupid. I guess, let me see. It's still a two turn clock anyway. Yeah, next turn I just need to make sure to attack with this factory because they would go to 8. Yeah, attacking with factory that turn doesn't change my clock as it currently stands. They found a land. That's not bad. That's a good start to getting things done. Now, if the Standstill finds me a Tormod Crypt, I might just be able to like be rude. I might even factor fiction in my main phase if they crack the Standstill, just looking for Tormod Crypt, put it into play and make it very difficult for them to combo. Also, if they have to use this Ancient Tomb, now it makes not attacking with Mishra's Factory look awful. Seal of Cleansing, yeah, that's going to crack my Standstill. Parallax Tide. I don't even need to, like, they're for sure just going to Seal of Cleansing this Seal of Cleansing when I go for the Parallax Tide, which I can't do because I don't have the blue mana, so never mind. Oh, we're good. We're so good. Dust Bowl. I'm going to crack your Ancient Tomb. 1, 2, 3. And I will sacrifice a white source, I guess. All right, this is really good, obviously. This means if I want to just kill them by attacking next turn, I'll go up to 31, not that that matters. If I want to kill them by attacking next turn, I simply just need to Seal of Cleansing there, Seal of Cleansing, and I can get busy with the factory. All right, easy 2-0 start. I guess opponent maybe not super experienced with the Parallax Replenish deck. I don't know what they kept, but that wasn't a good one. Let's get into round 2. Alrighty, round 2, and we want another die roll. Love that for us. Let's take a look at this opener. Double Seal, Factor Fiction. Double Seal is going to be good in some matchups. I like that my mana works, but if our opponent's playing an aggressive strategy, we're going to sit here and do Stone Cold Nothing for a full, 4 turns. So unfortunately, since we're blind, I just kind of can't justify keeping this. Mulligan, this is an easy mull to 5. Opponent's keeping 7, which is not great. So here we're looking for Standstill. Do we see it? No. What's next in order? We can't go to 4. We need to keep all 3 of these lands. We're opening on Coastal Tower. We got Flooded Strand, Adarkar Wastes. We need to keep Wrath of God in case they're an aggressive strategy. And I think we need Counterspell as well. We're just going to keep Counterspell, Wrath, hope they're like goblins or something, and then we might have a plan. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough start. We'll keep 1, 2 to the bottom. Done. Please do not wasteland my Coastal Tower. Opponent, pretty please. Pass to you. Tough, 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 tough. All right, F6. And a diamond. Ooh, what is this? Red diamond deck. Interesting. Well, we drew an island, which isn't all bad. We'll just play that and pass. Might be playing against some spice, or it could just be Oath Ponza. I think they play 1 basic mountain, maybe 2. On tap, draw. They didn't do anything super meaningful. They're just porting us. So, ooh, Standstill is quite good here. We'll play Flooded Strand. We're going to pass the turn again. And if we can get under them with a Standstill, that will feel pretty good. However, this deck, if this is Oath Ponza, they have a ton, and I mean a metric ton of manlands. So that's going to be a factor too. Can we support Standstill if we play it? Becomes a big question. Library is something I cannot interact with. That said, I've got my own form of card advantage. We're going to take an on-tap and a draw. Skycloud Expanse is fine. I think I do. Let me see. What's the thing I'm the most worried about? Can they Armageddon us? And if they do, am I sweating it that much? I think we need to get this Skycloud Expanse into play. Holding up Counterspell seems a little bit loose here. I need to do something to advance my game state. So we're going to play Standstill and hope they don't just go under us super quick with manlands. And if they do, we just kind of hope we draw Decree or something. But we need something to go right, and we can't do nothing with our mana for the entirety of the game, unfortunately. Wouldn't be shocked if opponent just paid 8 life here. They pay none. Don't hate that. All right, no manland. That's phenomenal. They're just passing, so I guess we'll on tap and they'll probably port something. Doesn't super duper matter what. This is the worst land to port. This land is probably the worst land I have in play, if I'm being honest. We'll play Flooded Strand. Now we've got Counterspell up, so the only thing we're sweating now is our opponent finding a manland. If we can fade opponent finding manland super aggressively, or say we find our Decree first, it looks pretty good for us. But as of right now, the advantage counter is leaning heavily in opponent's favor, which I'm not a huge fan of. There's a wasteland, kind of 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. Our lands are already going to get deleted no matter what we do. Untap, you can go ahead and port this island. I'm not going to crack these Flooded Strands till I absolutely have to. This Rishan import is just going to keep doing tons of work for opponent. Love the island here. We'll play that out. And then we will pass. We've got the Counterspell, so for as long as we can keep fading the manland, we're still feeling pretty good. All right, there's a factory. At least it's not a treetop. There's a chance we might be able to tank the Mishra's factory for a couple of turns. Here comes the port. That's fine. Take a draw. Swords to Plowshares could become good later. As of right now, we are officially on a 10-turn clock. So we need the top of our deck to be pretty good to us. They're going to library. If they find a second manland, it might just be lights out. Yep, fire up the factory. I like it. Second factory is brutal. That's so bad. I guess Dust Bowl is pretty good if you draw that. But this is one of the things that can happen. We kind of kept on a line, and our opponent is punishing us for that keep on tap. But we're not dead in the water. We've got some top decks to solve this. Factor Fiction, not one of them. We're going to wait as long as we can. There's a chance we'll have to blow our own Standstill. I'll go as low as 8 before I do something like that. Because what's going to happen if I blow my own Standstill with Factor Fiction is, and that's a second port, which we've made our land drops. We're not super stressed about that just yet. But if we have to blow our Standstill, our opponent's going to draw 3 cards on top of the library that they're already utilizing. Then even if we're able to find an answer to these factories, they're going to follow it up with a Terravore or something that's very scary. On tap, you get your port in. Probably just this Adarkar Wastes still. Yeah, it's tapped. There's an island. I'll take that as a concession prize. Just keep drawing lands. And then, let me see. As of right now, we could decree for 3, which is, we want to get to the point where we can decree for 4 so we can trade for 2 factories. That would be actually very, very good for us. Wasteland has text here. Take out the Adarkar Wastes. It's gone. I think we can give it one more top deck. Then I think we need to break our own Standstill. Funnily, our 7 that we didn't know what we were playing against, our 7 with 2 seals would have actually been fine, but we had no way to know that going in. All right, on tap. We're not going to draw yet. They're going to port something, I assume. They didn't port anything. I guess we can play this land. They can port on end step, and now we're just kind of forced to break our Standstill. So we're going to let our opponent conclude their turn first. We might even like crack it when they declare attack so we can pop off the Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, now we have to. That's a tree tap. So now we just need to find the Tide combo. Our way out is Tide combo. Opponent, you're about to get a little treat. Let them declare the attacks first, and then we're going to go crack. I'm going to grab a basic plains, and then we're going to go blue. Actually, I'll crack. No, I won't crack this. They've got 2 ports. Blue, colorless. Actually, we'll leave this up. Blue, white. Have some cards, opponent. There's a Parallax Tide. It's not the whole combo. It looks like they're going to give us, looks like they're going to serve us 4 and 1. I'm forced to take the 4 here, but I've got 2 swords. This is actually meaningful. Okay, we'll take pile 1. We kind of caught back up on cards. Now we're going to double strip mine our opponent, I think. I think this is like a mandatory action. Do we have any seals? We don't. So I think we kind of have to do this. Plains, swords, Mishra's Factory, and then we're going to do it again. We need all of this heat off of our backs. If they like play land, play Terravor, we're like forced to Wrath. But if they can't get any clock into play, our Factor Fiction looks pretty good. 1, 2, what costs 2? Terravor? Okay, we got a 12. We've got the answer to this wrapped up. We'll give it a draw step. But answering this means, okay, we've got a second Wrath. We still have a problem in this treetop village. Is a 2-turn clock as it stands. We'll play Faerie Conclave. We do just have to do this. There's nothing we can really do about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a better way we can tap for this? Yes, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is this counterspell without taking damage. Wrath of God, F6. Now, a smart opponent would wish it import before they try to resolve something and then move to their second main phase. But the main thing they want to do here is just get in with the treetop village twice. Our opponent's probably like 95% to win this game. Us winning this game literally looks like windmilling the answer to this treetop, followed by like getting access to the Tide combo immediately. And it has to be the Chain of Vapor version. Wipe our opponent's mana base out and then like work our way towards a decree while interacting with every meaningful spell. Not a super duper high chance of that happening. I have to imagine the Oath Ponza matchup might be a little tricky as well. I think this is a matchup where we're going to want our Exalted Angels. Resolving one's going to be a nightmare for them. Their deck's also full of Oaths, which don't have text, but they're going to come out game 2. Notably, they can't port me and play Terravor, which is huge. Second treetop's brutal for me, though. Now I kind of just want to top deck Parallax Tide so I can hit like their treetops and then hold still while trying to draw Stifle, potentially. Isn't out. Looks like they're just passing, which is smart. They're probably going to go for a double port, meaning I'm going to have to Factor Fiction in response. And if our opponent's smart, they have a stop set on our second, like our draw step as well, because we're going to float the blue. All right, they're going to let us move through, so I have to do it this way. Blue, colorless. I can't use Counterspell, so it has to be like exactly like this. And we're going to Factor Fiction. Standstill, Stifle, Mana Leak. Okay, we're not going to wait. We're not going to waste time on this. We're going to concede the game and go to game 2. All right, kind of a weird take here. We're going to go for a weirder approach to playing this matchup. But I think I wanted 4, but I think I only have space for 3 Exalted Angel. We're also going to bring in a Disenchant and 2 Annuls. I think there sometimes is like, against Terrageddon, for instance, I think I want the 4th Wrath, but Oath Ponza doesn't typically play actual creatures besides the Terravor. So we're just really worried about Call of the Herd. You know what? Because of that, I think maybe, potentially, instead of bringing out this 3rd Wrath of the God, we might just bring out like a Standstill because of the sheer amount of man lands that they have. Like this. Yeah, I think this better. But 2 Annuls, 1 Disenchant, 3 Exalted Angel. For Humility, because they got so many man lands. Stifle, Chain of Vapor, 2 Parallax Tide. We're going to back off the combo because we need to establish control before we try to do it. And then a Standstill. I think this makes sense. We'll bring these in and submit. All right, we'll be on the play. This hand contains Dust Bowl is actually huge. Also, we're going to try to... This hand is loose. Normally, I wouldn't keep this. But our opponent might not be expecting us to bring an Exalted Angel. And if they're going to like... I'm not going to mulligan for a null for the turn 1 Sylvan Library. So what I'm going to try to get away with here is I'm going to sequence a couple of basics and then try to morph this Exalted Angel and try to steal the game with it while counting on this Dust Bowl to trade for at least 1 man land. I think that might be a decent way to approach the game. So we'll keep one of my looser keeps for sure, but I have an angle here that I want to try out. I haven't really played the Oath Ponza versus blue-white TideStill matchup very much, but I have a theory in my head that Exalted Angel is much better than it looks. I'm not going to lead on Coastal Tower, not super interested in like trading for Wasteland this early. We're just going to play this island and pass. Reissued Import, Mox Diamond, yep, typical line. And a library, okay. Well, on tap, what do we see? It's a Swords to Plowshares. That's not good now. It can get good later. Right now, I think what we need to do is keep playing basics. That way we can like play out one of our on tap, probably the Skycloud Expanse, to get the Exalted Angel morphed and into play, because they may struggle to get it out of play, which is kind of the line we're playing to here. I do like the Swords to Plowshares. It's not going to matter for like 4, 5, 6, 7 turns, but when it does, it's going to be like, if I don't have it, I'm just going to die. Another diamond, sure. Forest, yeah. If they tap out for something super, they're just going to port now. Okay, great. I don't have Counterspell. So there's a Sphere, absolutely. All right, they're passing. Untap, take a draw, a Dust Bowl. I might feint with one of my Dust Bowls to protect my colored sources. That's, they don't have any creatures in place, so I don't need to like stress Swords to Plowshares. So I think I'm going to feint one of my Dust Bowls right now to protect a colored source, like I was just saying. We can't morph the Exalted Angel because of the Sphere. Opponent went to 8 to take an extra card. There's a Wasteland, so we this is exactly why we did this. If they're going to take out one of our lands, we need it to be not a white source. Because if they feel that this is the time to resolve a Terravore, which is exactly what they do, we have the answer to it, which is like huge. On tap, what do we draw? Island? Yeah, we just kind of have to convert for the Terravore right now. But I'm going to wait to see what they do. I can put this in play and just leave it in play for a moment and see how they handle their turn. They're just taking one card. There's a Wasteland. We've been doing our best to play around Wasteland, and I don't hate our success rate so far. Like, we're just going to get Wastelanded in this matchup, but if we can deal with their threats, it doesn't feel as bad. They're going to port us, so that's going to hold the Angel off for a little bit longer. They've already been through 3 Wastelands, though. I'll untap, draw that. Now that they've been through 3 Wastelands, I'm going to get this Coastal Tower into play. I need to fade them having Wasteland number 4 here. Very importantly, I did give them life that they can use for the library, which is not good. Mishra's Factory is fine. We're going to try to use Dust Bowl to protect ourselves from sure death. Flooded Strand is probably among my better draws. At first, I was thinking I'd have to cycle this Decree just for 0, just to get like a card draw. But we've drawn lands in a way that makes us able to cycle the Decree for some value, try to punish them for using their Sylvan Library super aggressively. Here comes Mishra's Factory. I love them taking this line. I will take 2. Notably, we haven't seen a Thermokarst or anything like it. There's a Treetop. So we're just going to untap and see what they do with their port. They did nothing with their port. Why would they? I guess it doesn't matter if they like wait till draw. I would just do it in upkeep though. Here, I think we can let them have creatures for a hot minute. I think it's time to morph an Angel, because if they can't answer it, yeah, I think I need to take this turn to do tempo. So we're going to let that get tapped. We're going to play out this island, continue to hide the Dust Bowl. We're going to tap this, we're going to sack it. We're going to go get a basic plains, and we're going to morph this face down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hope we don't just see an Oath. It'd be really weird if they still had Oath in their deck, but, you know, a lot of Oath Ponza players might be aware that the land still matchups interested in maybe taking the Exalted Angel angle. But I don't think that's a good enough reason to like leave them in your deck. The Oaths, that is. Wasteland number 4 is something we really need to fade. We've only got 1 white source if they have it, if they end up having it. Turn on the Factory. We're turning on the Treetop Village as well. All right, they want the smoke. This is the race we were hoping for. We'll take the 5. They can't port us, which is huge. Ouch. We'll go to 12. We'll untap. We'll draw Mana Leak, which is like not great because of the Sphere, but we have to do the thing we came here to do. So we're going to go white, whatever, flip. And then we're going to start taxing their life total and gaining some life for their man lands. This is important because that library, I can't just let them gain as much life as they want to. It's going to be typically very difficult for them to deal with a resolved Exalted Angel. So I'm feeling much better about this game now that we've got it flipped. As of right now, if the board state stays the same, we are easily winning the race. There's a lot of things that could change. Hidden Gibbons is fine. I guess they probably just want to like hardcast Terravore now would be a fine play. Nope, they're just going to get busy. Oh, they're going to get super busy, sure. Well, we love this. I take 5. My turn. Great. Untap, draw. What do we see? Factor Fiction is fine. We're likely to just cycle the Decree. Now we're winning this race so hard that I just want to like put more bodies into play and make it impossible for them to recover. They're also notably under a Sphere, so our Mana Leak just kind of has text, which is a huge deal as well. All right, we win. That's phenomenal. Great. All right, going into game 3, we're on the draw this time, and our hand contains 1 basic and 3 sword. This is an easy mulligan. This hand contains this is so bad. 1 land, double seal, swords. They're mulling to 5. I feel like I need to too. We're just looking for basics at this point. I keep a hand of 5 basic lands. 1, 2, 3 basic lands. Chain. Yeah, okay, this is good. We will keep. We definitely, unfortunately, well, maybe we don't. Maybe we like pitch chain and try to just like get Standstill into play and then cycle Decree. We're in the same place as we were game 1, where we're keeping a really tough 5, but most of our 5s are going to be tough. And if we can get the Standstill cracked in our favor, we can buy back the mulligan, where our opponent's going to have to like turn 1 library in order to buy their mulligan back. All right, looks like they might have it. Carpulsum Forest, Mox Diamond, Pitch, Library, or is it a Sphere? Sphere would be much better for us. It's a library. Okay, we got to get going quick. Seal of Cleansing is actually a good draw here. We'll play Flooded Strand. That way they can't like port us out of dealing with one of their resources. Also getting sealed down ahead of Standstill is a huge deal. Because then if need be, we don't want to do this, but if need be, we can seal our own Standstill so we can cast a spell without Ancestral recalling our opponent. 1, 2, 3 to Terravor. Sure. So now we're looking for swords. Untap draw, another decree. We can't keep letting them grind resources with the Sylvan Library. So what we're going to do is we're going to play planes. We're going to make the Terravor 2/2. Not stoked about that. We're going to go grab an island, and then we're going to tap for 2. We're going to play Seal of Cleansing, and we're going to pop that library. Now we're in the Can We Answer Terravor waiting room. Our opponent's back to drawing 1 card a turn, which is a big deal. Rishon Import is good, but we're not panicking yet. If we see like a second Terravor, then it's like we have to draw Wrath or Bust. Winter's Grasp. Now we're panicking a little bit. All right, we draw planes. I think we need to hide our planes. We're going to play this one. We're going to pass. We're going to have to keep taking 3. Hopefully they don't develop another Ponza piece. And if they don't, we can cycle the first decree for 0. We're just moving our way towards finding a way to deal with this Terravor. Because if we can catch our opponent with no threat in this space where they don't have a library, our ability to top deck out of the spot is very, very good. Obviously, we played the island, so if they want to thermokarst us, they have to not hit our only white source. All right, attack for 3 is fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's where we live right now. Ouch. Passing, perfect. Every turn they let us get a draw step is a beautiful thing for us right now. They're going to port. We can't stop them. We drew the swords. Phenomenal. Pass turn. What I might do here is take this 3, because they might play around Wrath of God. And if they are playing around Wrath of God, I would like them to not extend a Terravor. So I can strategically take 3, go to the end step, swords it, then get my Standstill into play. They're tapping the island. I will float a blue. Combat, I can't use the mana. Attacks. Now, yep, I'll take 3. My hope is that our opponent is afraid of a Wrath, if they have a second Terravor, that is. They Winter's Grasp. Okay. This isn't great, but now we can swords here. They don't have a man land. That's a huge deal. All right, they pass, and then land would be perfect. Okay, it's a land. We'll play it. We'll tap for 1/2. We're just playing it into the wasteland. I want them to use resources. Play the Standstill. Maybe there's a chance I was supposed to like play it after I played Standstill, like the turn after, so I could just windmill cycle the decree. I may have gotten a little ambitious there, actually. They cracked the wasteland. I can't stop them. All right, we're both in a waiting room now. Draw. Land. White source even. Port. Can't stop you. Double port even. Yep, white source off the top, please. Mana leak. F6. If our opponent draws very well, we're probably screwed. If our opponent stumbles even a little bit, and we get a little bit lucky, we can recover this spot. F6. Yep, port is fine. I wonder what's in their hand. They haven't been doing anything. Port is fine. Parallax Tide, not on our short list of cards we wanted to draw. They might just be, they're probably holding anything but manland. That way they can like not crack our Standstill. Because cracking Standstill might be a death sentence for our opponent. Keep on porting. I cannot stop you from porting my lands. I wish my life total was just a touch higher. Ouch. Flooded Strand is perfect, pretty much perfect. We'll pass. If we draw another land, we can start actually making dudes with our cyclers. Dust Bowl is also on my short list of cards I care about right now. We're not going to blindly cycle this. We will actually let them tap our stuff down. Yep, those are both tapped. Take a draw. Coastal Tower, pretty sweet. Play it, pass. Now, when they go to port me, I will fetch and cycle Decree for 1, just to get body in play. Mishra's Factory is pretty brutal, but we might need to pop off the first block. So we're going to do exactly what we just described. Tap for a white, fetch, go to 9. Get basic. Oh, we can't. We're out of basic planes. That's bad. Basic island. Tap for 1, 2, 3. Cycle. 1, 2. No response. We're going to make 1 dude. Done. No response. Take a draw. It's not a land. That's a bummer. Dude, yes. We draw land. This is very good. This is phenomenal. We're not going to block the Mishra's Factory. We're just going to try to get enough soldiers that they can't just freely attack in with manlands. They're going to port down this Flooded Strand. So I'm actually going to fetch right now, specifically because I do not want my Flooded Strand to get wastelanded. So we'll play an island, and that's fine. Wooded Foothills, sure. Activate the factory. I think we have to take this first hit. A card we're actually kind of worried about is Earthquake. I'll take the first one. Ouch. Then we kind of have to cycle this Decree for 2 when they go for port. All right, white. Would you like to go to my draw step? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cycle. 1, 2. No response. We're just looking for like Dust Bowl now. 3, 4. So that'll be a cycle for 2 dudes. Take a draw. Counterspell's not great. Neither is Chain. That said, we got to hope our opponent does something stupid here, because now we have the Parallax Tide combo in hand. That's a big deal. They fetch, makes sense. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they play, they can play land and Earthquake us. That might just kill us. We'll have to, if they have it, they have it. If they don't, we keep playing Magic. Opponent doing a good job at playing a convincing no spells game, where they're just putting ample pressure on us, not cracking our Standstill, forcing us to keep our blue cards just tucked away in our hand, which doesn't feel great. Dust Bowl is a super duper live draw right now. If we draw Dust Bowl, they might actually be in trouble. But really, any critical mass of land drops is going to be good here. Opponent might be thinking about cracking Standstill. They're really tanking on their turn here. I'd normally say opponent can't tank this much because they're behind on time, but we're deep into game 3. I'm at 6 life, so I think our opponent, to slow down here and really take a second to think about the position that they're in. Can they crack the Standstill? What are they trying to leverage here? Do they have second factory? What do they want to show us? I think opponents played it very well so far. They're playing Hidden Givens. That's phenomenal. I'm going to draw off Standstill. That's 3 lands. One of them's a Dust Bowl. This is very, very good. It's going to depend on what they follow up with, but this is like a big deal. Library's fine. 1, 2, 3. Here's a Terravore. Okay, I think we have a line. End step, my turn. Okay, let's see what we draw. Okay, there's no Sphere of Resistance in play, so we have to take a hell of a line right now. We'll play Adarkar Wastes. Here's what we got to do. Hold full control. We're going to go colorless. 1, 2, 3. We're going to play Parallax Tide. No response. We're going to take every meaningful land they have out of play right now. Can I do a mini combo and also do it again? I don't, not meaningfully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to leave them with a land and a Mox Diamond. If I take, let's say I take 2 lands and then Chain of Vapor my Parallax Tide, and then after playing the Chain of Vapor, hold priority, and then target 3 of my lands, then I get to untap them all. But I don't have another enabler for this, so I do just need to do the full Monty. We're going to take out Carpolzen Forest. We're going to take out Straight Up Forest. We're going to take out Straight Up Forest. We're going to take out Mishra's Factory, and we're going to grab one of their ports. Then we are going to tap for a blue, Chain of Vapor, targeting the Parallax Tide. That's going to trigger Hidden Gibbons, which is fine, no response. That thing had Trample, we'd be sweating it more. And then that's going to resolve, that's back in my hand. Now I'm going to sacrifice an island, and with that island, I'm going to bounce Terravore back to their hand, and that is where we're going to stop doing things. All right, their lands are gone. We've got a couple chump blockers for this Hidden Gibbons. We've already played our land drop, so now we have to just pass the turn and maybe draw a Chain of Vapor, maybe draw a Seal of Cleansing. We'll see what happens. Our hand's full. Our opponent's at 9. So if they pay 8 off Sylvan Library, they can't attack with the Gibbons. That doesn't look very good. They probably just want to go play a land, pick the Terravore back up. That puts us in an awful spot where we have to like Factor Fiction for swords. They'll give us just the swords. Looking back, maybe I was supposed to hit 4 of their lands, 1 of mine, so I could hold up Counterspell. They're going to go to combat. I'm easily just going to block 1. Block. Another Gibbons. Okay, we're not getting Vored. They pass to me. Great. And Adarkar Wastes. I think what we need to do now, we're kind of just looking for Exalted Angel. So I think the only thing we really truly care about doing here is we need to get the Faerie Conclave. No, we want to be able to hold up Counterspell too, because we're going to wake up this Gibbons. So we're actually going to play this Adarkar Wastes, and we're just going to give them the turn back. Now we've gotten on tap. We don't need to bother with the Tide. They missed their land drop. This is a big deal for us. Go. Library does its thing. They are bottlenecked on life, so they can't just like start paying a bunch of life to get extra land drops. And they saw the Exalted Angel, so that's got to be something they're actively thinking about right now. Go to combat. I will block with one of my soldiers. Clear blocks. Thank you, soldiers. He dead. Treetop Village. Thank goodness we have this Parallax Tide still. Now we need this Factor Fiction to be good to us, because we're about to wake up this Hidden Gibbons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Factor Fiction. Good morning, Hidden Gibbons. There's a Wrath and an Exalted Angel. They're probably going to give us the Wrath by itself. They've been thinking about this for a minute. Yet Exalted Angel, Counterspell, Wrath, 2 lands, I think is probably the way they're supposed to pile it. How do they beat the Angel? What if I just take Angel, play Angel? They're going to port me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So if I take Angel, play Angel, how do I lose from there? Ultimately, I think I can't get fancy. I've got land drops. This is very interesting. The Counterspell's blank. I've already got 2 in my hand. I think I need to answer what is already in play. As an alternate, hold on, there is an alternate play here, a really good one. If I take Exalted Angel Counterspell, then next turn, no, they're going to port me, so I can't actually morph the Angel and get the Parallax Tide into play if they port me. So that doesn't work the way I want. No, I cannot afford to get fancy. We take the big pile. Next turn, we draw the Exalted Angel anyway, which is brutally unfair to our opponent. Sorry, opponent. We're going to play Skycloud Expanse. We're going to make a white with it by tapping this, filtering this for colorless, another white, and a blue. And here is a Wrath of God. After that, we're just going to pass, and I think we'll pitch Mana Leak. Yeah, I think it has to be Mana Leak. Yep, you've tapped my white source. That Treetop's just going to get in. I can't stop you. My goal is to get Parallax Tide into play, choke their mana back up, and then Exalted Angel beats. There's still ways we lose this game, but the top of our deck was so good to us. Joyful Waffle, if you ever end up watching this video, great gameplay. Like I think you've handled this game very well, given the resources you had. Also, if I do win this game, sorry in advance for how lucky I did get off the top of my deck, because I think you navigated the early game on a resource deficit like that. We're both on 5, and you're on the play, so I'm actually up a card quite well. Library, definitely problematic. It'd be really cool if they think they're safe, because they saw an Angel go to the graveyard, because I just ripped it off the top like a lucky piece of shit. But if they go to like 5, then we're looking at like the clock being even faster, because I can like play Conclave, play Angel. That's a 1-turn clock. I've got a lot less things to stress out about. This turn, if they cast something, I would be shocked. I have to imagine they just want to convert their 3 damage from Treetop right now. They kept a card. They're at 5. There's a diamond. I wonder if we just counter the diamond. No, there's no chance. Yeah, diamond is... What does this let them do? Tap my islands down? How do they angle for a Terravore here? If this resolves, they pitch a card. Then they're down to 3. So if they have another land, right? I guess if I counter this diamond and they have Terravore, they just get the Terravore anyway, so I have to just let this go. So if they found a Terravore plus the ability to port an island and then cast it, they're looking good. It's just a treetop. Okay, cool. Attack for 3, I can't stop you. All right, we're on tapping. This is big. We draw Flooded Strand. We don't want to do that, I don't think. We're just going to play, let me see if we can go 1, 2, 3, morph the Exalted Angel. 1, 2, 3, 4, play Parallax Tide, choke them down to 2 lands. Then I think we want to kill them on the swing back, so we have to play Faerie Conclave. I think that's where we're at. Okay, let's go. Let's actually tap this, tap that for colorless to make the extra 2, and then tap this and morph. Actually, let's play the Tide first. That way, if they have like a red elemental blast, I can counterspell it. Okay, we're not going to get tricky. I'm just going to eat these right now. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, morph, and then here's a Faerie Conclave for lethal next turn. Let's see if they can find a way out. All right, library triggers, that's fine. Factory's cool. Tap, tap. If this is a Terravore, it's not even close. Unless they have another diamond, they're 1 short for Earthquake to be good. That's if they left Earthquake in. That may be loose for them to leave Earthquake in. They've got 3 mana. What am I afraid of right now? 1, 2, it's a Naturalize. This I will respond to. They're naturalizing, so I'm going to activate Tide. Target 1. I'm going to get an on-tap here. 2, 3. You may naturalize my Parallax Tide. Why did I hit my Coastal Tower? That was so stupid. It's going to come in tapped. I should have hit my island, just so everyone knows. I don't think it super matters right now, though. All right, we got there. Joyful Waffle, great games. We had to get really lucky, but we wound up getting it. Hooray. All right, we're going into round 3, and we're playing against Romario Vidal. Love this guy's content. He's also 2-0, which is awesome. Hey, good luck. Have fun. And we won the die roll, which rules. So that's cool. Let's make sure that we're capturing the proper window. Looks like we are. All right, I will take the play. No clue what Romario is on. I think I'm going to put him on Tinker Fling to start, just because like I know he's a sicko at that deck and has been playing it a lot. This hand has multiple mana sources, Seal of Cleansing, Wrath of God. If he's playing anything other than goblins or elves, this hand actually looks really, really bad. Our mana's not even particularly good with 3 wastes. I think we can take the first mulligan. This hand has Wrath of God, Chain of Vapor, Mana Leak, and 4 lands. I think we can keep this. I think I'm going to get a little greedy and ship a land. I think the worst land in my hand is Skycloud Expanse. So I'll pitch that. Done. And we just want to draw Standstill for the rest of the game, I think. Romario molts to 5. Now I'm really going to put him on Tinker Fling. Romario understands that this deck can win on 4 cards, and very convincingly even. Here's a Coastal Tower. Here's me F6 That's a forest. It's exploration. This is Enchantress. Wooded Foothills. So we need to counter the... This is an interesting matchup where I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take the angle of countering everything that they play, or if I'm actually supposed to interact with their anchor. I will play an island and just pass. Since I don't have enough permission to actually counter every threat, I think because he's on such a low amount of cards, I am going to interact with their anchors. He's just passing. Love that. Every time he just passes, it gets much, much better for me because I had the Parallax Tide combo. Chain's already in my hand. Island go. Sarah Sanctum taps for 1, tap for 2, Argothian Enchantress. Since I don't have another piece of permission wrapped up, I am going to take the line of fighting the anchor since he's only got 2 in hand. If they play a second one, we're going to Wrath. All right, F6. Take a draw. It's Coastal Tower, Plains, Wrath of God. Not today, Satan. All right, we need to hope Romario draws pretty dead. Argothian Enchantress number 3 is not pretty dead. Romario, what the fuck? And Sterling Grove, this is a little lucky. All right, Sterling Grove, Argothian, what are we looking for here? Tide combo at the end of the day. Tide off the top, Standstill. Romario is going to have to cast spells to further the game plan, so we're going to go white, blue, Standstill, Coastal Tower, and say go. Fetch, crack the Grove. Yeah, you got it. Enchantress's presence hits the revealed zone, makes sense. All right, that's going to trigger the Standstill. I draw 3. There's my Tide combo. Presence comes into play. We've got a way out. He's going to draw cards no matter what I do, but we have a way out if he doesn't find like everything right now, because he can tap for so much mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a wild growth. He's only got 3 mana. He's got an exploration, so this is definitely like a turn where it can get out of hand very quickly, but nothing. Okay, we know what we're doing. On tap, draw. Let's go for, they have 5 lands, so I have to do the full Tide combo. We'll go Adarkar Wastes. 1, 2, 3, 4, Parallax Tide. No response. Activate. Eat this. Activate, eat this. And then we'll get all 3 forests. And then we will go tap for a blue. And we will Chain of Vapor our very own Parallax Tide. We'll let that resolve. It'll go back to our hand. And then we will sacrifice an island. And we are going to bounce our Argothian Enchantress. Or Enchantress's presence, rather. That'll go back to hand. And then we're going to eat every single one of Romario's lands. And then if Romario can't develop land and we can get this counterspell down and move towards Tide again, we're looking like we have a fighting chance this game. We still have to get lucky though. This deck goes crazy all at once. Like Remarius went to 5 cards and he's up at 6 now. All right, that's our turn. Go ahead. Like he can drop 2 lands, which is just insane, obviously. Brush land, tap it. Mirri's Guile, F6. Did you find a land? Looks like no. On tap, draw Wrath of God. Okay, this is actually really good. We're gonna go Mishra's Factory. We're gonna hold up blue. So white, white, colorless, Wrath of God. No anchors, F6. That's the 3rd Enchantress. There's a Guile in play, which doesn't make me feel very good, but I've still got this Tide. He develops 2nd land drop. Do we see Argothian number 4? Well, that's all of them. Get the fuck out of here. All right, passing to me. Now we've got this Dust Bowl we're going to start using. Dust Bowl, I'm doing it now. Sacrifice, hit the brush land, tap 1, 2, 3, and I will sacrifice the Adarkar Wastes. And then we will add a white, turn this on, get it busy for 2. And if he develops another land, we're going to like tide away his lands and start attacking with both factories every turn. This Guile is really what's keeping him in the game. If he didn't have Guile in play, I wouldn't even fault him for conceding in this spot. But because of the Guile, there's a chance that he can dig back in. Not without making a land drop though. All right, he's passing to me. Untap, draw. It's a counterspell. So now I don't even need to hold down his lands. I can take this turn. Is this the one that just came into play? It is. We're going to activate this one by using a Plains. We're going to pump it using this one and attack for 3. Doing the good old standstill kills. And then we will, I'd rather hold up counterspell than strip mine here. Pass turn. Now we've got Romario on a clean 3-turn clock, and we've got disruption for his resources, which is gigantic. 2 Guiles is a little scary, but if you can't develop lands, it just doesn't matter. And it looks like he is currently not developing lands. Now that we're going to end step, I think I'm very comfy just blowing this land up as well. Tap, tap, and then the land will sacrifice will just be basic Plains. Go to my turn, untap, draw Mishra's Factory number 3. That's not fair. Activate this one, tapping here. Activate this one. This cuts my clock by a turn. Here, play this Mishra's Factory, tap it, pump this one. Combat, attack for 5, bring him down to 5. I have Counterspell wrapped up. This game's over. We're going to move on to game 2 as soon as he takes a look at his Mirri's Guile piles. Because he might be able to find like elephant grass. All right, nope, we're going to game 2. Or yeah, game 2 of round 3. Okay, what I think we're going to do here, I am going to deviate a little bit from the sideboard guide that I've been studying. It calls for taking out every Wrath of God. I could see Humility being good in some spots, but I can also see you getting punished by Seal of Cleansing. So I'm going to bring in 2 Annul, 1 Disenchant, 1 Tormod Crypt. I don't feel I need the second Tormod Crypt. It's just that the game goes long enough. We want to be able to like Fact or Fiction, Crypt, set up a blockade for an incoming Replenish. Then we're going to take out one of our swords. We're not going to cut all of them. There are reasons to keep in swords, namely Xanted Swarm is a huge problem. He's going to try to angle for a turn 1 Xanted Swarm. We have to have an answer for that. So we're just going to cut 1 Humility, 2 Wraths. We did see them deal with the Argothian Enchantresses there. They typically don't have all 4 in the top 15 cards of their deck. So we're not going to plan for that. We'll bring these in, these out, and we will submit. All right, looking at this hand, we have Tide combo, 2 lands, Seal of Cleansing, Swords to Plowshares. The Swords is dead, and we need to draw lands. That said, we have good lands. We've got Seal. The Tide combo looks good. Did Romario keep? They kept, but I'm not sure on the draw how much better we want it to be. We'd really like it if the Swords to Plowshares was, for instance, a land, but I love that if he leads on Xanted Swarm, we have the answer, so we're keeping. Our fail rate, we just simply don't draw land number 3. There's the Swarm. We knew that was coming. We've sideboarded to prepare for it. Untap, draw Swords to Plowshares, fine. Not exactly what I wanted, but there could be a second Swarm. I assume, yeah, just attack with, I'm going to F6. I don't play free spells. So this attack is good practice, but it ultimately doesn't matter. He could have done everything in his first main phase if he had wanted to. Exploration, no land drop. Well, okay. I mean, he still has an out because I haven't drawn a land yet, but I will now, I guess I'll just hold this Swords up. I don't need to like use it yet. This is a strange 7 to keep. Maybe it's one of those where if he draws the land, he just plays the Argothian Enchantress and he's good to go. Swords the Xanted Swarm. I might even just like get Seal of Cleansing into play. There's the land. That's solid. All right, there's Library. There's our Seal of Cleansing target. Land off the top, please. Am I lucky? I'm a lucky little boy. We need to deal with that Seal of Cleansing right now. So blue, or deal with the Library using Seal of Cleansing right now. Here's my seal. You will not be having a library today. F6. Now we just need to like naturally draw our land, so we're not going to fetch for that reason. Untap, draw. Stifle is not quite what we're looking for, but once we find our 4th land, the Fact or Fiction will find us more lands, and then we will Tide combo. And him struggling to find land drops is quite good. Tap for 3 for an Enchantress's Presence. This is a really clean counterspell for me. I can also see playing this matchup in a way where I just don't let the win conditions resolve. But right now I'm so close to the precipice of just blowing them out that I'm going to keep playing to these pieces of permission I have in my hand. Finding lands, not great for me. I do have the Stifle though, so if I draw land number 4, I can just windmill slam the thing. Parallax Wave, does that matter? I think that's on my short list of cards that don't fucking matter, so that resolves. All right, pass to me. Great, off the top rope. No land yet, huh? What's the over-under on get this Standstill developed and just be patient for a moment? Seems solid. Yeah, we're going to do that. 1, 2, here's my Standstill, F6. That fades away. Tap for a green. There's an exploration, crack the Standstill. There's my lands. I think we're good to go now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast Replenish to get back exactly Enchantress's presence. Yeah, that's fine. And library. That's quite good too. All right, well, we're about to blow Romario out. Not super interested in drawing land here, so I'll just fetch for an island. And then we will go to my turn, where I will untap. Draw for turn. It's a Dust Bowl, which is like not great, not bad. We'll play Adarkar Wastes. We have Stifle for the Parallax Tide. So I'm super, and there's no Seal of Cleansing. So I'm super cozy just going 1, 2, 3 for Parallax Tide. And I will eat every single one of your lands right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will go to the unstep. I'll just let Romario take his turn. As far as what I'm pitching, I think this Swords is kind of like outstayed its welcome. So we'll pitch that. You're going to lose a counter from that. You can, now they can like library, draw a bunch of cards, play a bunch more lands. But like after they play the first one, like I guess if they find a Serra Sanctum, that's where the wheels kind of fall off of this plan. There's just a Windswept Heath. That's just fine. Forest, tap it for a green. Exploration, trigger the presence is fine. I'm actually not going to eat the forest. I'll wait to see if they play a Sanctum. Exploration's fine. Do you find a Sanctum? Yes. Tap for bunches. Am I dead here? No, I'm not dead to a Opalescence, I don't think. Yep, you've got an Opalescence and 2 floating. That happens. Enchantress's presence draws you a card, and you're going to get a bunch of dudes, including my Parallax Tide, which can block notably. Oop, that's not good. Okay, what we need to do now is tuck my own island. They exile 2 more times. That happens. Comes back in. All right. Yeah, I guess my island's just exiled forever. I think I just ruined that. Ooh, no, I definitely just ruined that. I'm not going to waste time because this game can go so long. We're going to concede because I just ate my own island. That was kind of silly. And that is very much lethal in 2. So we're good conceding here. I still like the way I sideboarded. I think, oh wait, did I not sideboard correctly? Or does it make you in challenges? Do you have to re-sideboard every time? I could see that being a thing. Take one of these out. One of these out, one of these out, and then yeah, another Wrath of God. And then we will bring in, I'm surprised I have to do this all over. Unless I like didn't sideboard round 1, that would be embarrassing. And then we just want Disenchant. There we go. Give me them good cards. Oof, embarrassing. It was an embarrassing sequence I just had there. I got. All right, I would like to play first. That hand was good too, unfortunately. We can just like get Standstill into play and then try to leverage Parallax Tide. I think this is where we want to be. We'll just play an island and we will F6. Brush land, Xanted, just a carpet. So we're only going to be having 1 island in play for the foreseeable future. That was actually a good reason to play the Adarkar Wastes too. Untap, draw. I think this game we're going to take the route of just letting them deck themselves and countering everything that matters, I think is what we're going to try to set up for. What I'm saying is I'm going to play this Adarkar Wastes and I'm going to play the Standstill. And then I'm going to F6. We've got 2 tides, so we're looking pretty good as far as stopping Romario from having a huge mana advantage in the mid game. Standstill, Carpet of Flowers is kind of annoying for us, won't lie. I can go up to 3 mana here for a presence. Yeah, that cracks my Standstill. I get the first rebate off the presence. I also get to Seal of Cleansing that Enchantress's presence, which might be the route that I go here. Now I need to make a decision. Am I going to care about them going wide, or am I going to try to interact with every single thing? Right now I have a Counterspell and a Mana Leak, so I'm kind of set up to do either or. That said, with these Parallax Tides, there's a non-zero chance I can just like convert this Mishra's Factory into lethal. All right, we're gonna play this Factory out. Yeah, I think we would like to beat up the Enchantress's presence. I think it's close, but if I can get them with Tide, it looks pretty good. Yeah. Don't have a ton of experience in this matchup from either side, but I think this is what we're going for. Seal of Cleansing, crack it on presence, F6. Carpet does its thing. 1, 2, do we see a Sterling Grove? We do. Land drop, very good. Passing to me, passing to me. I draw a Counterspell. This is actually a fine place to be. This is a really good turn to just get a tapped land into play, because I can't hold up Counterspell anyway. So we'll get the Coastal Tower into play. And without an anchor, I feel pretty okay about just having Counterspell up here. I'd love to draw Chain of Vapor or Stifle. That way I can just go for the, Sterling Grove's fine. That way I can just go for the Parallax Tide combo, then start to like win with this Mishra's Factory or whatever. All right, Carpet of Flowers does its thing. You make a mana. I will be fetching for basic planes with this Flooded Strand. Enchantress's presence. Treva's Runes, no response. You may bounce a land. All right, I think because we have, I think we're going to convert Mana Leak here. They have no mana floating, just 2 there. So this is a fine place to, this Mana Leak will also start to expire eventually. So just Mana Leak the presence, declare attacks, end step, my turn, untap, draw. Swords to Plowshares, fine, because a Xanted Swarm might be something that's coming up in my future. I will play Flooded Strand, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to attack here. Am I going to convert both counterspells this coming turn? I highly doubt it. That said, Romario does have a known land in hand. It is a... Nope. What did he have? I think it's a forest. So forest, mystery card. I think... Yeah, we're gonna strongly angle for the Tide plan here. I do not need to get the Crypt into play right this second, so I'm just going to pass. I'm going to hold up Counterspell just because I'm a little paranoid. We'll let your Carpet of Flowers do its thing. Bonus points if I found Dust Bowl so I can sacrifice this fucking island. Crack the Heath is fine. 1, 2, that's 3 mana, 4 mana. Parallax Wave. Do I care about this? This is, once again, I think this is on a list of things I just don't care about right now. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let my Mistress Factory just kind of rot in play for a little bit. Untap and draw. Did they skip their land drop? I think they did. We'll play Coastal Tower. We're just going to keep chilling. We also have to be like cognizant of time as well. Also, Adrian, don't forget to fetch basic planes with that Flooded Strand. That Carpet of Flowers isn't horrifying yet, but it can get horrifying. 1, 2, 3, Opal Essence. This I do care about. So we're going to go blue, and we will counterspell the Opal Essence. Romario correctly leaving a land in hand. I need to find the Parallax Tide combo piece right now. I don't find it, so I'll play a land. And then this is the correct time to play Tormod's Crypt, I think. Now that they have like Opal Essence in the graveyard, Parallax Wave in play, I want this in play as well. Carpet of Flowers is fine. This game is in a state of like, I need to draw my enabler for the Parallax Tide, and I start to feel really, really good about my position. Carpet of Flowers trigger is fine. Romario opts out of it. I'll untap and draw. It's just an island. I think I'm going to hold it. Just bluff having drawn something kind of good. Parallax Wave kind of doing its thing, just slowly disappearing. Carpet of Flowers getting a mana. Little white source. Tap for 1, 2, Sterling Grove. Sterling Grove itself is actually fine. Just passing, I like that. I will go untap and draw a good thing. Also, I didn't play Island also because I don't want to feed that carpet more. Still nothing really going on. I don't think it's time to Tide yet. I think we're going to keep chilling for just a little bit longer. This Tormod's Crypt making me feel a little safe, kinda, ish. All right, carpet gives you a mana, that's fine. Just passing, it looks like. Do you want the mana now, Romario? Looks like no. All right, I get another draw step, sweet. Stifle. That's kind of what I was in the market for. So we're going to go island, and then why did I play that island? Adrian, you fucking jerk. That was so dumb. Wait, no, this is okay. No, it's not. I don't have Chain of Vapor. This is very much not okay, just so everyone's aware. I can actually get my islands out of play by myself. Interesting. We're going to go blue, 1, 2, Parallax Tide, and then we're going to start eating. We're going to start with this Windswept Heath, just to force Romario to fetch. They let it go. All right, we're going to start with this forest. Tap for a green. No response. Move through phases. All right, we're going to eat your Treva's Runes. Float a green, no response. Go to the end step. Now we're going to eat the Brushland. Just making Romario drain his mana pool every time I eat something. All right, it's gone. And then we're just going to pass. See, what's awkward is I just gave Romario a second island, which is not good for us. Sterling Grove going to search something up. Enchantress is present, sure. Pass the turn. Tide fades away, our wave fades away. I'm the one with the Tide. Carpet of Flowers gives Romario 2 mana, which is not ideal. Island, tap it. Enchantress's presence. I think I will. This might be ambitious. Whenever, like if Lana gets around to watching this, I'm sure the thing he's going to say is, Adrian, you can't, you just counter all the things that matter. But this deck doesn't have quite as much permission as Dreadnought, so that's a little bit scary. I'm going to eat this now, because we're just going to stifle my Parallax Tide. Untap, trigger the Parallax Tide. Fading can happen, that's fine, but this trigger is not so much fine. Stifle, draw step, Chain of Vapor. Well, that's really good. This Parallax Wave is all gone. It can't eat creatures, so I will. This is interesting. I wonder if I'm supposed to like put Parallax Tide into play and eat my own islands, or I could like chain it. I need to think for a second. Please stand by. All right, what I was thinking about was that I could like play Parallax Tide and actually purposely exile all of my actual islands so the Carpet of Flowers doesn't have text. Unclear as to how good that actually is, because it makes me burn my Chain of Vapor on the Parallax Tide. I could also like Chain of Vapor the Carpet of Flowers, but it just becomes a problem immediately. So I think what I need to do is sit tight for a second and just activate this factory, tapping this island, and get busy with it, and see if Romario develops a land, I think is what we want to do. I think that's what we got to do. Hopefully Romario doesn't just have like, make 2 mana, play another presence, or play something that matters, because our hand not very strong here. Thank goodness we have the Crypt, because if he has Replenish, he could very much cast it right now through a string of like explorations and stuff. Xanted Swarm, that's actually great. Looks like no land drop. End step, okay. Let's go White Swords, the Xanted Swarm. We won't be tolerating that today. Untap, draw. I want Fact or Fiction, to be honest. Skycloud Expanse, we'll hold it for a little bit. We'll just activate this and get busy, and then just pass the turn. Carpet does carpet things. I accidentally put an island in play and I feel dumb for it. There's an island. Argothian Enchantress. Definitely spooky. Definitely happens. Nothing else going on. So we'll go to my turn. Untap, draw a good one. Just an island. Well, we won't be playing that. I'll play the Skycloud Expanse. I will tap for a blue. I will activate my factory. I will get busy. Now I wonder if I'm supposed to do that weird tide play I was just talking about. If not now, when? Yeah, at this point, he can start to gain advantage off the Argothian, but if I can choke him on mana, we might look okay. So we're going to go island makes blue-white with a blue and a colorless. And then we will play Parallax Tide. This play is unhinged. Do not know if it's good. We're going to eat forest. We're going to eat my own island, and we're going to eat my own island. Then we are going to tap for a blue over here, and we are going to Chain of Vapor my own Parallax Tide. And I will have some responses. I think I want to untap some lands now. So we got Chain of Vapor targeting it. Now I can untap some lands. So I think I will also do... does it super matter? I guess I can feign Counterspell pretty well if I hit like my Adarkar Wastes. And now I will have no responses. And now I can sacrifice a land to bounce Carpet of Flowers, but there won't be any islands in play, so I don't care about the Carpet of Flowers. Except for like Sarah Sanctum, but if I give it back to him, he can use it to trigger the Argothian, so we're not going to bother. Goodbye Forever Islands, goodbye Forever Forest, and then we will pass. Kind of a weird play, but I think it gives me the best chance to actually get the job done with this Mishra's Factory. Plains, sure, F6. Before I draw, I'm going to fetch, because I want basic plains out of my... I don't want to like draw all my plains and be forced to fetch for island. Factor Fiction is phenomenal here. We are going to do nothing. What are the chances he has Swords to Plowshares? I don't think he can. We're just going to turn this on like this and get busy. You didn't keep swords in. You go to 10, I pass to you. We're just going to FOF at the end step and try to like clean the game up. Yep. Carpet makes no mana. There's a forest. Not great. Second Argothian Enchantress. Okay. Look for the one of Wrath of God be left in our deck, I guess. Yep, that triggers. It's fine. End step. We'll go all of these cards make blue. All of these cards make colorless. Fact. We got Disenchant. Oh, Decree of Justice is insane here. Ooh, but another fact plus factory actually looks really good too. Oh, Disenchant I can use to Parallax Tide combo. Maybe that's the route we go? Yeah, we're taking this. And then we'll go to our next turn. And we will draw for turn. And then, yeah, I think we're going to Parallax Tide combo once more. Or alternatively, we can just make a bunch of dudes and attack. Not really sure which I'm supposed to be doing. I guess we don't even need to disenchant it. We can just play the first Parallax Tide, right? Like blue, whatever, then just like play this and then just eat his lands right now so they can't do anything. And that lets me just like get him at this factory. I think this is maybe the best play. Go to combat, attack for 2. Then next turn, I can just like cycle Decree for a bunch and clock him. I think that's the route we're going. Pass turn. You make nothing with Carpet. There's a plains. Looks like they're just passing. Carpet triggers again. He's probably not going to make the mana again. End step. I probably should have actually tided that plains when he went to combat, but whatever. We'll take an on-tap. Parallax Tide's going to dip down, and then we're going to draw for turn. That's a Flooded Strand, which can get a plains. We're going to do that right now. I'm not going to be dumb. Go grab basic plains. Then, you know, what if we just make 2 angels? Yeah, that's the fastest way to skin this cat, right? Cast. 1, 2, 3, paying 1, 4, 5, boop, done. All right, go ahead, Romario. I've got lethal, and you have no mana. Ooh, Brushland. Miri's Gagail. Yeah, we'll just like, that's fine. There's no expiration in play, so like, how does he make more mana? He doesn't. He just draws a bunch of cards, and I think the game's over. Passing, cool. Carpet triggers. I dealt with my own. I think dealing with my own islands was actually the play that put me in a position to win here. On tap, let the Parallax Tide trigger. Draw, go to combat, attack with all creatures, take 8. All right, we get there. GG's. Well played. We got there. I was a little lucky, huh? Thank you, Parallax Tide, for making it easy. All right, round 3. We're actually on the draw for this one, finally. And we're playing against Foster the Dave. Looking at this opener on the draw, we have Chain of Vapor Stifle, which are 2 cards that don't do a whole ton on their own. We do have Mana Lake, which isn't as good on the draw, and we've got this Wrath of God. I think this is one of those weird hands where if I mulligan to 6, right? And we looked at like, say, we mulligan to 6, looked at this hand, we'd pitch the Stifle, and we'd be like, okay, we've got our colors, we've got a like manland, a counterspell, a way to white the board. We've kind of got most of our bases covered. This is probably on the lower end of 7s that I'm willing to keep. But since our opponent mulliganed, I'm keeping on card advantage alone. We're obviously hoping not to get, they keep 6. We're hoping not to get wastelanded, but we can't get super got. They're playing Island, so, and Portent. I'm going to put them immediately on Dreadnought, and now I'm really happy with this Chain of Vapor. Not the perfect hand versus Dreadnought, but a functioning hand versus Dreadnought, which I will take. End step, I will untap and they'll draw first off Portent. Then I'll get a draw. Second Wrath of God, among the worst draws I could possibly have. I think they mulliganed. What did they do with their Portent? They chose to use the ability and they shuffled. I think they might not have the combo, so I'm going to take a risk here and not hold up Chain of Vapor. I'm just going to play the tapped Coastal Tower and F6. Because the other thing I would do is like play Flooded Strand, crack it so they can't stifle the crack, get Island and hope. And that gets really awkward if I like randomly drew a Swords to Plowshares. They're Portenting again. I wonder if they missed their land drop. That would be pretty good for us, huh? They shuffled and they missed their land drop. This is very good for us. I'll take a draw. Standstill, Swords. Swords is a great pickup here. We'll just play this land. I'm going to fetch now. I'm not getting got by a Stifle when I'm ahead. We'll just grab a basic island, and we will pass the turn. Now our job is to just keep up on resources. Opponent looks like they're passing again, which is phenomenal. I really love to draw a Standstill here. No Standstill, but I'm super happy to develop island. I think I'll play the Mishra's Factory, though, just so if they keep stumbling, I'm going to start punishing them really hard by clocking them, which I think will wind up being meaningful. Also, on the lookout for a second white source, there's a chance that I will eventually have to Wrath of God a Phyrexian Dreadnought. They didn't do anything again, so they're going to discard. It wasn't even a Flash of Insight, and that's a Vision Charm, so this is confirmed Dreadnought. We're going to play an island. We're going to get busy with the factory. If our opponent wants to sit there and do nothing, we will take advantage of that and get some damage in while we can. We've also just drawn every land. We've got a Dust Bowl, so if our opponent draws Mishra's Factory, oh god, that would be brutal. Missing another land drop. I'm sorry, Foster the Dave. This is really bad for you. Foils what's pitched. That's effectively dead, right? Yeah, here's a Faerie Conclave tapped. Here is a Waking Up at the Factory. Chance I was supposed to actually play the Dust Bowl so I could hold up Mana Lake plus Swords to Plowshares. Hopefully I don't get punished for this. Although if they do have like the land drop, they would need Gush Foil. Their hand probably contains Gush Foil if I'm being honest, so hopefully it wasn't a punt to not just play that Dust Bowl. This is a lot of missing land drops, dude. Well, they clean up, they go to pitch Stifle. Here's another, let's see here. I can still hold everything up if I do it this way. Yeah, activate, pump. Yeah, we're doing it like this. We're gonna go, it becomes a creature, tapping an island. We're gonna play a second factory. We're gonna pump that factory, and this is gonna increase the clock. Attack for 3. In like 2 more turns, Dreadnought won't even be fast enough. Then we're just gonna pass, holding up Mana Leak and Chain of Vapor with the Swords to Plowshares as backup. Did you find your island, buddy? No, this is not how it was supposed to go. Opponent's just done stone cold nothing for 5, 6, 7 turns. Draw Skycloud Expanse. Okay, I'm going to, now I'll play out the Dust Bowl. 1, 2, yeah, I can kind of do everything still. We will wake this up, tapping the Dust Bowl. We will wake this up, tapping the Faerie Conclave, doesn't super matter. Go to combat, clock you for 4. It'll bring you down to 9, and then we will just pass. Man, brutal. Although at this point, I want this to keep happening to them, if I'm being honest. I'm sad. Foster the Dave says, I'm sad, lol. Yeah, that's brutal. Sorry, Foster. Sideboarding time. All right, here's how we're going to sideboard this particular matchup. We're going to take out, and this is very close to the guide that I was talking about earlier. I made some changes to how I sideboard the matchup. We're going to bring in 2 Annuls and 1 Disenchant. They all have infinite text against the Dreadnought deck. The Dreadnought deck does usually board out on Shrimps. They usually become a Tide deck themselves, so the Annul and Disenchant still kind of handle that problem somewhat, but you know, we're not, like, we're keeping our swords in because we need them when we need them, but there's a chance that, like, they just get stuck on our hand. I'm also going to bring in an Exalted Angel because I want to get one of the Wraths out of my deck. So Exalted Angel is just a way to turn the corner, especially if our opponent stumbles and I can get it morphed. Outside of Chain of Vapor, they're going to struggle to get this out of play. Then we're going to take out a Stifle, doesn't really have text. 2 Parallax Tide, they're a Gush Daze deck, so it's going to be very difficult to convert into that with Parallax Tide. In the late game, maybe it'll be good, but really early, I just don't want to have these in my hand. And then a Wrath of God because I'll keep 2 in because I do want multiple answers to Dreadnought, but 4 mana sorcery speed answer to Dreadnought seems less good. This is what we are doing. All right, this hand contains an Annul, a Chain of Vapor, a Wrath of God, and a Counterspell. It's really just missing Standstill. I'm going to keep this hand. Opponent also keeps 7. That feels scary. Keep. All right, they just play Island and pass. I will untap and draw. All right, so I've got swords wrapped up. I don't think I'm going to play a fetch land. I think I'm going to open myself up to getting foiled by a turn 1 Dreadnought because I have the ability to go swords and Chain of Vapor. I just want to get like my tap land into play now, like my Coastal Tower. I guess I could play a Adarkar Wastes. You know, I was analyzing this hand. I was like, there are 2 Coastal Towers. That's kind of awkward, but it's actually a Adarkar Wastes. I take back everything I just said. I'm just going to play a Adarkar Wastes and kind of pass the turn. That way, if they didn't know to sideboard into being a Tide deck, I can just kind of annul this Dreadnought. And if they've got Daze, I've literally got Chain of Vapor Annul wrapped up. They're just going to play an island. I'm going to start F6ing pretty aggressively through turns because this matchup, I tell you what, it can go long. When my opponent's trying to tide me and I'm sometimes trying to tide them, the game can just like stretch out to infinity. AK is fine. Opponent plays a factory, which is great. I'll try to Dust Bowl that later. They're just passing, so I will untap, take a draw. It's a mana leak. I'll play Flooded Strand and F6. They can't do anything in my end step that I would interact with, so F6ing safe here. Yep, AK is fine. We're not interacting with those. Is land? Sure. Looks like they're just passing, which is fine with us. I'm not going to crack these Flooded Strands until my opponent moves, basically. Here's another Flooded Strand, F6. Just an island pass. I like it. Untap, draw. Coastal Tower is a fine pickup here. Do I need 5 mana? There's a chance I could. I will actually get this 3rd Flooded Strand in play right now. Still just not going to crack it until our opponent makes us. 1, 2, AK number 3. Go to 9 cards, draw up to 10. They're almost certainly going to try to leverage for a Parallax Tide here. If they don't, they're going to discard, which does not feel like how you want to use your AKs. If they leverage for a Dreadnought, we're actually significantly less scared of that. Okay, they're leveraging for a Dreadnought here, which is like fine, I guess. We're just going to use our Annul. Annul the Dreadnought. All right, they let that go, which makes sense here, I think. But that makes me think my opponent has many Dreadnoughts in their deck. Did they know to become a Brain Freeze deck? I wonder. I'm not going to fetch here. I'm not going to let them convert a Stifle when I can just make them go to discard. Flash of Insight, maybe? That would be the best thing to discard here by like a lot. Kind of weirded out that they didn't fight over that Dreadnought, actually. That tells me they probably left all their Dreadnoughts in for starters. But then to boot, they have to have ways to fight over it. There's no way they have an 8-card hand that can't protect that Dreadnought. But by going to discard, they are really carving away a lot of the value they got off those AKs. I wonder if opponent maybe had some soft opponents before and is maybe newer to the deck. Or maybe there's just something I'm not seeing. I'm willing to concede that that's a possibility. Also, if I was opponent, I'd consider starting to cruise in with this factory at this point. I will just get Faerie Conclave into play. It's a card that can eventually become a clock, which I'm kind of into. Little untap. Here's a Parallax Tide. Now we have to interact. We're going to start with I'm going to test the waters and fetch. That way, if they have a Stifle, they get off of Counterspell mana. All right, there's the Stifle. This, I'm actually not going to interact with. I'm going to, now that they've tapped down to 1, tap for a blue and a colorless, and I'm going to mana leak the Parallax Tide itself. All right, Parallax Tide is done. I will let this Stifle hit my Flooded Strand. I don't really care as much about that right now. All right, our opponent didn't fight to protect that at all, so we're just kind of at card parity now. Annul's a great pickup here. We'll just play Coastal Tower and ship the turn. Looks like they're just passing again. Yeah, I'll do this with you for the rest of the game, dude. Mishra's Factory of my own, pass. 1, 2, Impulse, sure. You're up. Oh, more things? Tap for what, 4? Cast a Flash, that's also fine. We don't interact with those. Next turn, we're going to wait. And now that they've tapped out, we're going to fetch. We're going to grab Basic Island, and then we're going to fetch. And Island is the only thing that really matters. We need as many blue sources as we can muster. So 2 islands, now you can continue. Might start getting busy with this Conclave soon if you make another land drops, like next turn. Here comes a Dreadnought. They keep doing this Dreadnought thing. So they have like, their deck's full of Dreadnoughts. Now I have to think about how I want to interact with the Dreadnought. Do I want to simply annul this Dreadnought? Because this Annul and this Counterspell are really protecting me from getting just tided immediately. The other 3 cards in my hand actually deal with the Dreadnought itself, which puts me in a really interesting spot where like, maybe I just want to like chain a Vapor the Dreadnought and try to get them to pick up a little bit of a fight. I think that's what we're going to do. Dreadnought's fine. All right, Stifle the Dreadnought. I am comfortable with you gaining infinite life, so I will first Swords to Plowshares your Phyrexian Dreadnought. Let's see how deep they'll go on this. Notably, opponent has a 4th AK in their deck still as well. They tap 2 for a Counterspell. I think here, I'm interested in Chain of Vaporing the Phyrexian Dreadnought. So we'll tap for a blue, cast Chain, target the Dreadnought. I just want our opponent to use as many resources as I can get them to, and maybe try to turn the corner with my manlands. They let the Dreadnought get bounced. That's great. Concession prize, they don't gain 12 life. Portent, sure. I'd like to draw a land so I can play around Daze here. If I draw a land, I'm actually going to attack for 4. If not, I'm just going to attack for 2 and move on with the game. Untap. You draw a Portent. I draw for turn. It's a Dust Bowl. That's actually phenomenal. We'll play the Dust Bowl. We will tap it for a colorless. I'm going to fire up this factory. Then I'm going to tap this for a colorless and this for a blue, and I'm going to fire up. Actually, this doesn't let me play around Daze very well, does it? No, it doesn't. I'll continue to be patient. Should have left that Dust Bowl untapped. Can I? Yeah, I can't deactivate the factory. Go to combat. Get in for 2. I just don't want to let opponent convert a Daze this late in the game. That would be a detriment to our health. You're up. We've started our little clock. Right now it's a 5-turn clock. There's the Dreadnought. Here, we're going to fight with Annul. We're going to fight tooth and nail and then try to actually get the Dreadnought with Wrath of God. 1, 2, Counterspell. All or Gush. Cast Flash, no response. Counterspell, my Annul. Do we take the chance that it's not a Vision Charm and try to get them with Wrath of God? How many Stifles have they used? 1, 2. We haven't seen a Vision Charm yet. It's probably Vision Charm. I need to just kind of hope that they don't have Parallax Tide. We're going to Counterspell the Dreadnought. And if they pitch cast foil, we're going to try to get them with Wrath of God. All right, there's the foil. No response. All right, Dreadnought is going to happen. We're down to 1 in hand. They're down to 3 in hand. Going down to 2 because they're going to stifle. They're stifling. That's so good here. All right. Unless they have Gush, they can't stop this Wrath of God. The chance that they don't have Gush is pretty low, to be fair. Ooh, Chain of Vapor. That's interesting too. But I think we just take our Wrath here. This is like the most probable time that it's going to actually resolve. So we'll go Wrath of God you. All right, it's gone. Then we can man up this factory. Whoop, not like that. That's not how we do that. Man up this factory with the Dust Bowl and get busy for 2. And hope one of the last cards in their hand isn't Tide. Go to 16, pass to you. Please just attack me with factory. Be out of gas. Who am I kidding? The Dreadnought deck never runs out of gas. It's like not a thing. Unless they like never draw land. But that's not, our opponent did not have that problem this round. I would kill to draw a Standstill, a Fact or Fiction. Shit, Decree of Justice would be phenomenal here. We're in a position where if I can like hurry up and turn the corner, I feel really good. Bonus points if our opponent literally just has like land, Vision Charm, Dreadnought, and I can like use this Chain of Vapor. They concede? They just concede? That doesn't make sense to me. At the 3-0 bracket, well, I guess we're 4-0. Foster the Dave, good games. Maybe Foster must be like newer to the Dreadnought deck. And if you're wondering how did Foster the Daves become 3-0 seed, the Dreadnought deck's so good that even if you're only like 50% good at it, you will just kind of plow through people who don't know how to play against the deck at all. I think with the cards, let's actually take a second to workshop this. Looking at the resources that Dave actually had here, he left Dreadnoughts in, multiple Dreadnoughts. I think he should have changed into a Parallax Tide deck, which he did, but he left too many Dreadnoughts in. So he probably didn't have enough permission in the deck because you're cutting Dreadnoughts for the Parallax Tide combo. But he drew a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 3 accumulated knowledges were a +3. And then we saw Flash of Insight casted twice and 2 Dreadnoughts plus 1 Counterspell, 1 foil. And we did see in the Exile pile, Parallax Tide, additional Stifles, Impulse, and stuff. I think with the tools that I had, which weren't very many, I shouldn't have been able to win that game. I think Foster definitely stay in the stay in the dojo, keep getting your games in. In this matchup, with the tools you had access to, you had an above average hand. You probably would have been able to get this matchup. So if you do end up watching this, my advice: A, donate some money to the charity so you can get the Bible from David Raska, and then read Justin Provincal's guide on this deck as well. To get an idea on how you're supposed to sideboard this matchup. Because when you're on the play like that, and I kind of drew like this many mana sources, and like I had to convert a Wrath of God, you're usually supposed to win this game. But we're 4-0, so we're going to go into round number 5 and start to look at maybe IDing into the top 8. All right, we're going into round 5 against Caleb Yetman, and we won the die roll, so we're 4-1 for die rolls today. I imagine we could just double ID in, but this is my first challenge. I don't know how that works, so I'm just going to play games. I'll be on the play. This hand contains a Coastal Tower, a Swords, Counterspell, Mana Leak. The big problem with this hand, if we were on the draw, I'd actually be super into this. I'm going to keep it anyway, but it's close. Missing land drops with this deck, very bad. This hand looks like it could miss a land drop or 2 if things go sour. But if things, like missing a land drop, like missing land 3, till turn 4, this hand could actually potentially tank. So I'm going to keep this. If this is Dreadnought, that would be scary to miss land drops. Let's just try to get lucky. We've got Decree, Mana Leak, Counterspell, Adarkar Wastes, Coastal Tower, Swords, and Fact or Fiction. All right, we're both on 7. Let's hope we don't get wastelanded on turn 1, because I am leading on this Coastal Tower and F6. Little Island, Portent, Island, nothing. Okay. If it's Dreadnought, at least they don't have the Portent. I drew Skycloud Expanse. That's a land. Adarkar Wastes pass. Not too bad. Here's an op. So it does look like it's going to be Dreadnought. Technically, it could be Tide Control. I don't know how many ops they normally play, though. Mishra's Factory, definitely starting to look like a bit of a Dreadnought matchup. So we just really need to draw our 4th land. That would be our ticket into this game going really well for us. Looks like they're going to go for, are they going to go for the Dreadnought here? Okay, so what I'm going to do here, there's a couple of ways we could go about this. If they have days, we're in a little bit of trouble. If they have foil, we're in a little bit of trouble. If we fail to swords this, say they have foil, then we have no backup and this Dreadnought kills us. So what we need to do is actually beat the Dreadnought itself. The best way to do this is to just let it go. No, it's to Mana Leak here. Do we Mana Leak the Dreadnought or the Enabler? If we Mana Leak the Enabler and they have daze, they daze it, then we go to their turn, and as long as they don't have foil, I can swords it and we're still playing Magic. Yeah, I think that's the direction we're going. Blue, colorless, No, I'm going to see which enabler they're going to use, actually. We'll let the Dreadnought go. All right, they're going to Vision Charm. This is something we don't want to resolve, so we're going to try to trade for a foil or a daze here. We're also going to set a stop on our opponent's upkeep. Mana Leak, the Vision Charm. There's a foil. Okay, so I don't know if they can beat this now. We're going to have to see. We go to our turn. Land. Land is very good. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to fetch. Ooh, one moment. Max, what's up? I can't talk right this second. I am 4-0 in the challenge in round 5 right now. Okay, love you. Bye. Okay, so we fetch, we get Island. And then all we're going to do is we got to stop setting our opponent's upkeep. We're going to go to Swords the Dreadnought, and then we can actually counterspell an interaction point. And I don't think they have an interaction point. So let's go to combat. It would have to be like another Vision Charm. End step, you go. All right, you've untapped. I'm tapping for a blue, or a white rather. I'm going to Swords to Plowshares this Dreadnought. I guess if they have Vision Charm Daze, we could got here. But if their hand is that, they've had perfect. I can't do very much about it. Impulse is like fine, no response. They're also tapping out, so I think we're just good here. We beat the first Dreadnought because Daze doesn't do it. Yeah, nothing they could draw actually stops me from dealing with the Dreadnought. Goodbye, Dreadnought. You're at 32 on the bright side for you, opponent. Little land drop. That's cool. Portent is fine. They shuffled their library, which makes us feel really good. I'm not just going to jam Factor Fiction here. I'm going to try to play around Daze some more. And we just keep drawing lands, which is just peak. So we're just going to pass. If they even if they tap out, we're just not going to bother with Factor Fiction. We're just going to keep playing this game, taking it a turn at a time, hopefully drawing every single land drop, which we are doing. Here's a Coastal Tower. We'll pass again. And after we get the Skycloud Expanse into play, we are 10 out of... Oh, this is the AK version. That's kind of tough. This means they can buy back into their lost card advantage. But at the end of after we play our land and pass, if they don't do anything, we're going to Factor Fiction at end step and attempt to protect it even. Portent's fine. Passing to me. All right, nothing on your end step. Untap, draw. You're going to draw off the Portent first. I draw Mishra's Factor. That's a great pickup here too. We'll play the Factory, and then we will pass. Another line we could take is just Cycling Decree. Although I think we can try to get away with a sneakier, larger Decree. All right, you can draw. Alternatively, I might just keep making land drops until they move. They're just portenting, that's fine. They're passing. I might actually, now that I'm up so many cards, I'm just going to wait until they move before I try to Factor Fiction. Or like I'm going to go to discard, or I'm not going to make my land drop. That Swords to Plowshares is awesome in game 1. If we can accumulate enough ways, speaking of accumulate, there's accumulated knowledge. If we can accumulate enough ways to just deal with every single Dreadnought, they don't have a way out. Impulse is fine. Now that they've tapped out, like this, I am going to take this opportunity. This is a risk I'm taking, but it's a calculated risk. I do want this Factor Fiction to resolve, and this is the time, I think, to do it. So we're going to tap for 4 and just jam the Factor Fiction. If they want to counter, they have to like foil or gush foil and go down a bunch of resources. It's a huge trade for me. They're actually just hard casting foil. They're pitching the foil with 1 card in hand. So now I'm actually going to protect my Factor Fiction because I know they can't beat this Counterspell. Counterspell your foil. This lets me hold up Swords to Plowshares. Split it however you want. I'm going to take the bigger pile. Giving me humility in the bigger pile, there's 0 chance that's correct. All right, I take it back. I'm going to take whatever pile humility's in unless they 1-card pile humility. I don't know how they're supposed to beat humility. It does a really good job at dealing with the remaining Dreadnoughts, and I still have Decree of Justice. Yeah, we're just going to take pile 2 and then pass the turn. Get busy with, nope, there's an accumulated knowledge. Opponents buying back into their card advantage. Now we got to grind through all these AKs, which is definitely going to be a problem. Opt is fine. Luckily, they keep doing things like just straight up foiling my my Factor Fiction the hard way, which is a conversion I'm super stoked to get in on. There's a Factory. We've got Dust Bowl, so we're just like not going to interact with this Factory. We'll eventually draw Dust Bowl and kill it that way. We're just going to save everything for the Dreadnoughts. Untap, draw. Another Factor Fiction is crazy. I'm going to cast it. Factor Fiction, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have another foil or a gush foil? There's a Standstill. I already have a Factory, so there's no way this is right. I'm going to take pile 1. This is a miserable way to split this. All right, now I'm starting to question if my opponent knows what matters. I don't know if they do. I'll take a free 2 from the Factory. I'm just going to hold up blue in case when they crack the Standstill, I draw the things I need. Here's my Standstill. Now what are we doing? Okay, you go. I just like have my own Factory and my own Decree, so I'm just not sweating anything. As a matter of fact, I'm 10 out of 10 to just like windmill cycle this Decree for maximum at the end of their next turn. Pass to me, I untap and draw. Flooded Strand's like, whatever, here's a Plains, go. This will probably force them to Stifle, so it triggers the Standstill and I draw more cards. All right, unstep, here comes my big move. 1, 2, 3. Would you like to stifle the make tokens ability? Absolutely. Yep, I will draw 3 off the Standstill. And then there's a Parallax Tide. I've got Chain of Vapor wrapped up. So yeah, you've stifled it. I'll just cycle this Decree. Another Decree, huh? They've got 3 cards in hand, 6 mana up. I feel like I'm actually going to cycle this right now too. 1, 2, 3, because I would like to draw a hard piece of permission in order to force this Tide combo through. That might mess them up really bad. 1, 2, 3, done. Make 3 dudes, draw a card. Is it hard permission? No, it's a Tide though. I'll take a Tide. Draw a 3rd Tide. That is metric so many Parallax Tides. Let's go ahead and get down with the Tide. I'm not even going to bother protecting it. If they want to like interact with this, I don't care. I'll 1-for-1 you here. I've got such an abundance of resources. Okay, now we're going to see if we can get away with murder and just like exile everything that matters. Okay, target factory, target island, target island, target island, target island, tap for blue, chain of vapor, target Parallax Tide. No response. You get a counterspell? Looks like no. I will not sacrifice a land. All right, what if I just ate all of your lands? Do you have like a gush? Opponent just like never drew gush? That's so weird. Okay, well, I guess we'll like play Tide back out. Parallax Tide? Wait, can't do it like that. I need another blue. Parallax Tide again. All right, eat this, eat that. Combat. Attack with all my dudes and you can go. Weird how little pushback I've gotten for all these plays. I guess I'm used to playing against some of the better Dreadnought players in the world, so that's cool. That might make playing players who are just getting into the format a little bit easier for me. Snatch your island. Chain of Vapor? Absolutely. That is fine. I will take a Parallax Tide back to my hand. I will not sacrifice a land. I'm just going to play it back out. You also infinitely exiled your island, which was like not good. On tap. There's a decree. We'll go Flooded Strand. Show me an answer to this Parallax Tide. All right, eat this, activate this, get busy. Bring you down to only 4 above your starting life total. Very cool. This is just a tempo Tide. We don't have any protection for it, but we're just going to try to kill our opponent dead. We'll fetch here, grab a plains, on tap, Tide ticks down, we'll draw a card, play Flooded Strand, we'll fetch right now. We're going to grab an island. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then X will be 1, 2, 3. Let's see, this is 8 mana. I can do 1 more. Yeah, we'll do 1 more. 1, 2, decree cast, paying all the mana, making dudes that they can't possibly answer. Done. Do you have pitch cast foil? No? Okay, cool. Combat. Attack with all. This will bring them down to 21. Now they're on a clean 2-turn clock. F6. Fades away. Go to combat. Attack with the team. Bring you down to low life total. Opponent correctly making us kill them because the clock is a huge factor in this matchup. All right, I guess they didn't make us kill them. We just win game 1. Let's go to sideboard. All right, same plan as last time. We want all of our disenchant effects. So 2 annuls, 1 disenchant. We're also going to bring in the Exalted Angel because I kind of want to get 1 Wrath of God out of the deck. We're going to bring out 2 Parallax Tide because of all their gushes that we didn't see any of game 1. And this Stifle, it can come up in this matchup where you want to stifle the Brain Freeze. Not every Dreadnought player is on the Brain Freeze plan, so I don't want to get this stuck in my hand. If they kill us with Brain Freeze in game 2, we're likely to bring the Stifle back in and like side out either the Angel or go back into our deck and start looking at like, maybe we want to take out 1 Chain of Vapor. Maybe we want to take out a Swords to Plowshares if we found out that our opponent correctly sideboarded down to 1 Dreadnought. So that's what we're doing. Boom, submit. All right, this hand is kind of awkward. We don't have a true colored source right now, but we've got like Swords to Plowshares plus Annul. I think we keep this and just hope to draw like an actual mana source because our only colored source needs to be fueled. But we're going to keep this. I'm just going to be on the assumption my opponent knows how to sideboard and does not Dreadnought us on turn 1. And even if they do, we have like a plan against it. Draw Adarkar Wastes. That was the best possible. Pass. It's best possible because we can like feign counterspell for the rest of the game as well. Just an island, sure. All right, take an on tap and a draw. A Flooded Strand is like fine. We will just play it. I think I'm going to wait because of Stifle reasons. I'm just going to play this Mishra's. Now we'll play out the Skycloud Expanse. That way, if they go to do the Dreadnought thing, I can like float blue-white and have swords and Annul. Impulse is fine. Find their land drop, that's good. I've got this Dust Bowl wrapped up for the Mishra's Factory, which is also very good. Take a draw, it's a standstill. We're not quite ready to deploy that. What we'll do is we'll just get this Mishra's Factory in play to support the Skycloud Expanse. Now we do have swords plus counterspell and swords plus Annul just kind of up right now, which is very good. AK is fine. Little island go. I like it. I'm probably going to do something very similar. On tap, draw. It's a Chain of Vapor. Here is a Dust Bowl. Pass. I'm not going to play the Flooded Strand yet just because like it could get stifled. I might want to feign having like Factor Fiction. AK is fine. We're going to have to get through all the AKs regardless. Opponent plays Island. I wonder if they're itching to try to Tide combo us now. Colorless. They're going for the Dreadnought. This is very interesting. Like this is a very aggressive place to go for the Dreadnought. I am going to Annul, I believe is going to be my plan here. And then can we protect ourselves from Tide? We kind of can't actually. We kind of can't. We've got the swords. We're actually, no, we're going to let this go. I just lied. We've actually got enough pieces to like protect ourselves. So we'll let this go. They're going to stifle. I'm going to now make blue and white, tapping this factory. Then with the white, I'm just going to fire off the first swords to Plowshares and see if they interact. Vision Charm. That we're going to counterspell. Ouch. Counterspell, Vision Charm. So to stop in the upkeep, because we're going to try to Chain of Vapor plus Counterspell on the Dreadnought to get it out of play. There's another Vision Charm, so that's basically how we figured it would go. All of this happens. They don't gain 12, which is kind of important with how long this matchup might go. We're going to go to our turn, untap and draw. It's an Adarkar Wastes, which makes us less soft to Stifle. Then we're going to pass the turn. We've already got a stop set in the upkeep. You're up. We've got 3 blue to do this, which is really good. So I'm going to start by just tapping for a blue and Chain of Vaporing the Dreadnought. Opponent taps for 2 and gushes. We let the gush go. Their hand is 4 mystery cards and 2 islands. Tap for 3. Cast Flash. We also don't care about that. No response. You can draw a card. They're going to counterspell, so we're going to fight back here. Blue, and then we'll tap this. Oop, not like that. We'll go blue, then we'll tap this for colorless here, and then we'll make blue white. And then we will counterspell their Chain of Vapors targeting Dreadnought, so we'll counterspell the counterspell. Let's see if they got foil. If they do, we just need to top deck something. All right, Dreadnought's back in hand. This might give us the window we need to resolve Standstill, which would be very good. They have an island, sure. End step, on tap. Do we go for it? That's a Swords. That's such a good top deck here, too. Flooded Strand. We're going to blue-white and filter it through this Dust Bowl. Here's a Standstill. Annul. That's fine. And then can we kind of hold everything up still? We can. And we can, like, fetch. So we're going to do that now. Fetch. I'm going to go grab me a island. I'm actually not going to attack with the factory. I can play around days here if I don't attack with factory, so I'm going to do that. Because I might have to annul plus swords. Island, sure. Then we know they have a Dreadnought as well. Portent's fine. Looks like they're just passing. I think I'm going to Mishra's factory, not Mishra's factory. Dust Bowl's tap, so I can't do that. We'll just untap and draw. They'll draw off the Portent. I get a swords. We're going to pass. Now we're at the point where we like kind of want to draw a Tide eventually. They AK back up to 7. AK busted card. Island. Are we going for Dreadnought again? Looks like it. I'm really worried about Tide, so I am gonna annul. I can't play around everything at this point, so I am just going to annul the Phyrexian Dreadnought to see if they'll go deep on fighting me. 1. Second Dreadnought, sure. They're not at 5. Now they need to have a way to protect it. All right, Stifle. I'm going to let that go, actually. I'll just swords on end step, and if they have a response, I'll swords on end step. All right, white-blue, floated off the Dust Bowl, swords to Plowshares, Phyrexian Dreadnought. They're going to counterspell, so I will, once again, tap for a white, swords, Dreadnought. Gush, looking for foil, they might already have it. Vision Charm, sure, we'll give it a draw. Also, notably, opponent did not gain 12 life. Exalted Angel. I mean, it doesn't save us, but it gives us, like, another draw step, weirdly, so we're going to go cast. Play around days, is that worth it? It might be. I kind of want to block this factory with the Angel, if like disincentivize them from attacking. Yeah, we're going to play around days here. Colorless into blue-white into colorless morph and F6. Tap for a blue. Portent, sure. I'm at 0 cards in hand. I would have almost portented me instead of themselves. If I had a fetch, not so much, but I think that wouldn't have been bad. They declined to use the ability. They like what's up top. No blockers. I will go to 3. That's a very low life total. And then I will untap. And then you will draw off Portent, which is probably a counterspell. That doesn't save me. Okay. This gives us 10 minutes to almost 11 minutes to operate in game 3. I don't think I'm changing anything. I still like the Angel. I almost want another Angel, but I don't think we can afford to have Angels in the early game. We really have to fight through what they've got going on. So we're just going to resubmit the deck and we will be on the play. All right, this hand has double. This is an awful hand. This is double Wrath of God, Chain of Vapor, Mulligan. This hand has Counterspell, Seal of Cleansing. Yeah, this hand has a little bit of everything. We're just going to pitch the most expensive card in our hand, which is Parallax Tide. And like, we'll get Seal of Cleansing into play. Pitch the Tide. Weirdly, I do have like the Tide combo, but it just costs 4 at the end of the day. What else am I pitching? Second Seal? That's another answer to Dreadnought, right? Could be Counterspell. That kind of reeks, though. No, I think we have to be responsible and just pitch the Parallax Tide. Done. All right, here's an Island and an F6. They play Island Go. They play Island Go, so I'm going to go Skycloud. And let's see if they have Annul/, Daze. I think we're going to lead on the Seal. Seal of Cleansing? You got something for this? Annul. Perfect. F6. No aggressive Dreadnought here. No counters, no land drop for me, though, which is brutal. So we're going to take this opportunity to make them interact again. This time, I believe I'll play Standstill. I need a way to beat the Dreadnought. So as weird as it seems, I just need them to interact with the Standstill. Perfect. Annul number 2. Pass to you. That way if they go like Dreadnought and they kept on Annul, I can just like seal it. Third land, pass, F6. All right, still no land. Here comes my Seal of Cleansing. I'm just going to keep casting spells and making them trade. All right, pass. AK's fine. Fourth land, tap for 1, 2, AK, sure. Pass to me. All right, land off the top, and we're still looking okay. Another swords. This is not looking great. We're going to keep playing. You know, obviously we're in round 5, 4-0. So we're going to play to every edge we have. Impulse is fine. Island, pass to me. Okay. Well, they're doing an awful lot of nothing. If I start drawing lands, we don't look as bad. Go ahead, opponent. I can't just fetch with this whenever I want. I have to like pick the best time possible. Chain of Vapor, my Seal of Cleansing. Well, it's not ideal, but it happens. I will not do anything in response. Go ahead. They just play a land and pass. Okay, sure. That Chain of Vapor was super, they didn't need to do that. That was really weird. I wonder why they felt they need to burn a spell like that. Chain would be really good with their own Parallax Tide too. Hardcast Gush, that's also not how you use that card. You want islands in your hand. That resolves. Now that they're down at 1, I almost feel like Factor Fictioning, but that's wrong. That's wrong. They could just daze. Factory, sure. All right, lands off the top, please. Mana Leak, sure. Like, that's a nice consolation prize, I guess. Just like more interaction. Island, activate the factory. Yeah, we're just not going to interact with this for the foreseeable future. Ouch. That hurt me. Pass to me. Draw land. Let's go. Adarkar Wastes. We're still not going to play a spell. We'll wait until like we don't have a land drop and we're going to go to discard, and then we'll probably just be forced to play the Seal of Cleansing. Tap for 2. Gush. Yes. Better be Parallax Tide. I don't think Dreadnought's good enough no matter what's in your hand. Parallax Tide. Okay, we have to fight for our life on this. So we're going to go blue, and we're going to Counterspell. They Counterspell back. We are going to fetch and see if they'll Stifle. It'd be a weird use of a Stifle since they're trying to resolve a Parallax Tide. They do Stifle. Okay. Then we're going to float like this, and we are going to Mana Leak the Parallax Tide. All right, they Counterspell. This takes them off of Chain of Vaporing, and their Stifle's gone. So we just kind of hope they don't have another one. All right, you got my lands. Draw land. Damn, F6. We might be dead here. First loss of the challenge. There's a Portent, so it looks like they don't have Dreadnought wrapped up. I guess they still could have Dreadnought wrapped up. We've got like a chance to draw basic planes and just like get them. I don't know. Activate the factory. Looks like they don't have Dreadnought wrapped up. So like, what are we trying to dodge? Stifle? If we can fade Stifle here, we might be okay. Decline to use the ability. They definitely have a Stifle on top. There's no way they keep that pile without a way to double hit me with that thing. All right, we're going to play this Adarkar Wastes and just pass. They're for sure going to Stifle this Tide, which is going to be really lame. All right, you're up. 1, 2, 3. Parallax Tide? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can't stop you. F6. Get in for 2. Flooded Strand. We will hold it for 1 turn. Next turn, after it's down on 3, I'll play it, and then when they target it, I'll fetch. See if I can catch him without a Stifle. Activate Factory is fine. F6. Draw Mishra's Factory is fine here. Yeah, we want to play Flooded Strand and just pass. All right, they didn't eat, which is great. Parallax Tide rolls down to 2. AK, sure. Another land. Dreadnought, sure. Let's see if they burn a Stifle on the Dreadnought. It's probably a Vision Charm. It's a Stifle, so I'm going to try fetching now. Do you have your 4th Stifle? Get a plains. Tap a plains. Swords to Plowshares the Dreadnought. If they didn't bring in Brain Freeze, we've actually got a way to win this game. They Counterspell, sure. It's Stifled. It's gone. My land is all gone. We got to draw a white source, and they have to miss here, which is like a big ask, but it's possible. All right, I take 2, and then my turn. Untap, draw white source. Damn. Okay. Well, GG's. Well played. We lose this game easily. They simply attack for 12, and that's good enough. All right, we're 1-1 against Dreadnought so far. We're 5-1 going into the finals, or the final round of Swiss. And we'll be right back when we play that final round. Unless we ID, I got to look into how that works. You'll find out in just a second. All right, going into round number 6 of Swiss. If we win, we're in the top 8. If we lose, we're not. So this should be a fun one. And we won the die roll, which is a great start. So we'll be on the play. All right, this hand contains, we actually have Chain of Vapor to set up Standstill. And if they don't do anything, we can simply Standstill. I think this hand, we're a little land light, but we've got the Standstill. So we're going to try to leverage that. The Mana Leak makes us feel safe. We're going to keep. We're also in round number 6. So the chance that this is Dreadnought kind of high. I'm also going to aggressively fetch for basic island. Just get that out of my deck. Don't even think about it. Here's my island. You may go. Kind of want this to be like goblins or something. This hand's set up fairly well to deal with that. We'll see. Island. I'm going to guess my opponent is on Dreadnought. On tap, if we draw land, we did draw land. We might play around days here. I don't think we will. We're just going to go for this. Right. Yeah, we're just going for the Standstill. All right, go ahead, opponent. Try to win on card advantage alone. Adarkar Wastes. So this is not Dreadnought. This is either the Mirror or Parallax Replenish, which I'm into. Swords to Plowshares, fine. We'll just play a land and pass. Opponent draws. Little Rishid Import. Well, now I don't know what's going on. Should be interesting. We're the one with the Standstill, so I'm not sweating it yet. No land drop, but we're still chilling. We've got Tide combo wrapped up. Port's a little spooky. Opponent's also missing land drop. Opponent looks like they're going to discard, which feels solid for us. It's a Swords. We draw a Counterspell. We don't have to go to discard. We've got Counterspell and Swords, so I wonder what our opponent's on. Rishid Import's a really weird one. Playing Impulse makes sense. It's going to crack my Standstill. We don't draw land. So here in this spot, I think our opponent's choked up on lands. I've got Chain of Vapor wrapped up. I'm actually going to tap for 2, and I am going to convert a Mana Leak into this Impulse to see if I can keep our opponent choked down on mana. Next turn, we have to pitch. I think we're going to get rid of the Swords to Plowshares. And then, because there's no way this is Dreadnought with Port. And then also, it's kind of awkward. I think this Wrath of God's also a little bit clunky. I could see wanting to go for Tide twice because they definitely have permission. So I think Wrath plus Swords. We've got Chain of Vapor / Swords to Plowshares up right now. So if they go for something, I'm not super stressed. Impulse is like fine. We're super likely to draw land for the next couple turns. If we do, we're good. If we don't, it's a little sketchy. Opponent found their land first. Looks like they're just shipping it. Very interesting to see Rishadan port in a blue-white shell. Land? Damn. Tough. But we're going to go to end step and pitch a card. In this spot, I think we're going to cycle a decree at the end step, and I want to have a backup decree as well. So I think here it's awkwardly just Tide. I can't support keeping it in my hand. They make the 5th land drop. They're just passing. All right, we're going to cycle this decree for 0. 1, 2, white, cycle. I just want to draw a card. Is that okay? Done. Do we find land? We don't. Our 3rd decree, land off the top? Yes. Okay. Island. That makes things way better. Now we have mana leak and counterspell. We can cycle this decree to get a body, which is also a big deal. Our opponent not porting us is kind of weird. Are they going to finally do it now? Factor Fiction with 5 cards in hand. I don't think I want to let this resolve. Yeah, we're just going to tap for 2 and convert the mana leak now while we can. No guarantee we'll get to convert it later. Continue. Found another land drop. That's not great for us. 1, 2, 3, 4. Their own Parallax Tide. So this appears to be Tide control in some form or fashion. We have to counterspell this. Counterspell your Tide. What you got? Looks like they're going to counterspell back. If we draw an island, we can chain it, which would be a pretty big deal. All right, mana leak. I can't pay it, so I won't. Our deck at this point is full of lands. We've missed so many land drops. They eat an island. They're also down to 3 in hand, so we could get lucky here. All right, you've got all my lands. Do we find a little blue source? Oh, rip. All right, we're F6ing. This is bad. This is pretty unlucky. Tide's going to go down again. They have to have Stifle, so there's at least that. Another island. You got like an Exalted Angel? Nothing? Okay, pass to me. Looks like we find ourselves in an actual mirror, but our opponent weirdly has like Rishadan import. Here's a tapped Coastal Tower, and I'll pass. Got Factor Fiction. Looks like they're cycling Decree. So this is a mirror, but our opponent randomly has Rishadan import in their deck. That's really interesting. All right, on tap. Do you have Stifle? Show me Stifle. All right, we're not coming back from that. We're going to concede for time because this matchup can take a long time. All right, we're going to go with a pretty simple plan here. We just want 2 Exalted Angels. It's just an extra threat in the matchup. We're going to want to be able to close the door if we're able to like mount an advantage. And then 2 Annuls because they're going to have their own standstills more than likely. And they already showed us they have Tide. We're going to bring in, that is what we're bringing in. We're going to bring out 3 Wrath of Gods, which are effectively textless. We've got our own Decree of Justices to fight their Decree of Justices and a Humility. It's a pretty simple plan, but I like it. So we're going to bring these in and submit. I would like to play first. Yes. All right. This hand has a good amount of lands, 2 Factor Fictions, Counterspell. This is actually right where we want to be in the mirror. I also need to start playing much quicker. Opponent mulligan to 6, which is like not a big deal for them. They're on the draw, so it's kind of card parity for them right now. 5's a little tougher. All right, they're on 5, which isn't too bad. Coastal Tower, pass. They play an island and pass to us. Yeah, we'll go. On tap, draw. It's swords. Play island, go. Our swords are just going to be for our opponent's potential meddling mages, their potential Exalted Angels, things like that. They just play second island. They haven't shown us white yet. Take a draw. It's another swords. We'll play Mishra's Factory and just pass again. Their own Mishra's Factory, sure. We'll untap and draw. Stifle, solid. It doesn't do anything right now, but it has the potential to like stifle a Decree of Justice cycle, which will come up in this matchup more than likely. Let's see. Can you keep making land drops? Looks like it's a Faerie Conclave. I think I'm gonna bite on a Factor Fiction now. Let's firstly see if they have the Stifle, because I'll counterspell a Stifle here as well. They don't have it. We want mono blue sources. And then would you like to interact with this? Because I'm going to fire it off. They don't have it. That's pretty great. I'm going to take whichever of these piles has more lands, to be honest with you. All right, chain Skycloud Mishras. Putting the Annul in the pile with 2 lands feels weird. I'll take that though. That sounds great. Gimme. All right, my turn. All on tap. We're also a little behind on time, so we'll try to make that up. Drawing Seal here is actually very good. So what we'll do is we'll play Adarkar Wastes. We'll tap for a white and a colorless, and we'll just play Seal of Cleansing out. This means if I draw Parallax Tide, and I can back it up with Counterspell, just might be lights out. That might be exactly what we're angling for here, actually. Opponent, very good for them. They can keep developing land drops even on a low mulligan. We were hoping to kind of see him stumble there, and they have not yet. So we'll just play Skycloud Expanse, and we might even Factor Fiction at their end step, protecting it depending on what they do. We'll probably wait until we miss a land drop, though. I don't want to go to discard too much. Untap and take a draw, a little Skycloud Expanse, and a pass. 1, 2, cycle Decree of Justice. I will actually stifle the Make Soldiers trigger. Continue. All right, they made a land drop. It might just be time to fire off this Factor Fiction, try to get them to fight me, maybe try to like turn the corner with just Exalted Angel. Maybe that'll be enough. Yeah, let's try it. Boop. Boop. Then one of these. What about this Factor Fiction, dude? Want to make a trade? They don't. We find our own Decree. Counterspell, land. So they're going to split it lands and spells. I actually don't like the lands and spells split here at all. I think you definitely don't want me to have both Decree and Counterspell. Maybe that's the angle they just feel like they need to play to, though. Like play to try to make more land drops than me. It's a good place to be in a control mirror. This makes a lot more sense to me. So I've got Counterspell Annul wrapped up. I could try to turn the corner super fast with Decree. I haven't used a Decree yet, so there's still a ton in my deck. I think I will just take, if they want to leverage their own Decree, that gets really awkward. I'm probably going to morph this Angel. So I'll go up to 7 if I take I'll go up to 8 and 9 if I take the Counterspell pile, but I can play land plus morph Angel. I will take the Counterspell pile. Choose pile 1. All done. I'll untap and draw. Play a Plains that you know I have. Let's tap this Factory. Let's tap this Skycloud Expanse. And let's tap this, I guess, Plains, and let's morph this Angel. All right, opponent, that's it. You're up. I have Counterspell wrapped up. I can't do Counterspell, Annul, which is a little bit awkward. 1, 2, looks like they're going to go for the Decree, which is fine. This Decree doesn't play super well into my Angel. They could have Swords to Plowshares, and they might just be waiting till I flip it, but I will defend this Angel with my life. They also can't freely attack because I have a 2/2. Tap tower, sure. No attack, makes sense. I could flip now, but then I can't protect with Counterspell, so I'm just going to untap, take a draw, play another land. Let's go ahead and flip this Angel. Blue-white, tapping the blue, and then colorless. This has us hold up the most permission possible. Flip, combat. Do you have a Swords to Plowshares? Chain of Vapor. Well, I can just redeploy this, so I'm not going to respond to that. I will not sack a land to bounce a token. And then from there, do I just want to deploy it again? No, I think I'm just going to pitch an island and carry on, just take my lump for 4 or 5, however much they want to attack for. Fact or fiction? I think this one I care about quite a bit more. They need to have a very specific hand for this Counterspell not to be good enough. Also, it saves me for going to discard. So we're going to Counterspell the fact. Continue. We have Annul plus Counterspell wrapped up for Parallax Tide, which is obviously very good. They've only got 3 in hand. 1, 2. They're going to race, which makes sense. They get in like that. I'm actually going to take the damage and Swords the Faerie Conclave at end step. End step, tap for a blue, or a white, sorry. Swords the Faerie Conclave. My turn, on tap, draw. It's a Mishra's Factory. That's actually solid here. Let's play the Factory. And let's tap all of my mana that can't be blue if I want it to be. And we're just going to remorph the Exalted Angel. They Counterspell. I'm fighting. I think they're soft to this at this point. All right, Angel, go ahead. Land, 2 in hand. I can't protect this morph if I want to, so we're flipping it now to be mana efficient. White, 1, 2. You got something for this? Looks like no. Draw a Counterspell. That's probably my best possible. Go to combat, attack for 4. Deal 4, gain 4, very good. Now we're not worried about these soldiers as much. We've got factories to block. We're just going to pass. They make a land drop, sure. They can't attack, so they're passing to us. I like it. On tap, draw. It's a mana leak. Paired with the Counterspell, I might actually be able to get use out of it. Here's an Adarkar Wastes. We're going to go to combat and just swing in. Not going to bother with the factories yet. Go back up to 20. Pass to you. Tapped Conclave is fine. They still got 2. I think I can beat most combinations. I think it's time to start getting with factories potentially. Swords to Plowshares is cool. Yeah, we're going to go, let's see. Activate. Actually, let's change how I activate it. Let's float like this and then activate with white and then activate with, let's see, how many of these soldiers can I take out here? You know what? I think that was a mistake. No, we're not even going to attack with it. I just realized those soldiers, my opponent would actually be stoked to be able to make that trade here. I'm not going to offer it. I think that's wrong. Angel triggers, I'll go up to 24, and then we're just going to pass. A bit of a fumble. I used more mana than I had to, but it's not like they have a sword. If they did, they'd target my Angel, not the manland. All right, they concede. We're going to a tense game 3. This is a win and in. Okay, this hand contains Standstill, Annul, Chain of Vapor. We're going to keep this and just hope to draw lands. This is a solid 7. Tap Conclave, F6, land off the top, Rats, Island, go. Little Plains action. Do you have a Standstill? Seal of Cleansing. I think I will annul that and then play my Standstill. Seems good. Untap, draw. It's a decree. Yeah, we're going to need the Standstill pretty bad. Interestingly, they can just start attacking us with that Faerie Conclave. I don't have an out to it currently, but also if I just sit here and do nothing, I'll just miss land drop. So I'm going to play the Standstill. Pass. We just have to hope to draw lands, get Dust Bowl. It's a 10-turn clock. We've got Decree. That's a Mishra's Factory, which isn't great. Untap, draw land. Yes. Pass. Now cycling Decree. If we keep making our land drops, cycling Decree looks so good. Yep. Activate is fine. Attack is good. Ouch. Opponent missing land drop is good. Let's not miss this next one. Yes. Go. Go. Miss your land drop. Miss it. Make it easy for me. All right, they're activating the factory, sure. Attack me. Yes, I will take 2. All right, let's see if they stifle this. That would draw me 3 cards, so that would actually be insane. Island, and then we'll do this one for also an island, actually. And then we will cycle this Decree, like so. Just looking for an extra land so I can leverage the second Decree. Done. Make a soldier. Draw a card. It's just an Angel. Rats. Land off the top. Another Decree. Okay, we've got a line. If they get him at that factory again, then we just cycle another Decree. Not the forbidden blue force. Now we're also looking for Dust Bowl. Oh, they power up the factory. Oh, this is so good. All right. Decree mode. Strip mine. I'm going to pay mana. make a second dude, draw a card. It's a land, that's great. Go to blocks, block, block, damage. Strip mine mode, pretty good. Take a draw for turn. A Factor Fiction's like fine. Now they have to start hurting themselves to attack with Conclave. We're at the point where they have so many cards in hand that if they go to attack me with the Faerie Conclave, I'm going to Swords to Plowshares it. They're too smart for that. Smart opponent. My turn, I would like to draw land for the rest of the game forever and ever and ever. Annul, not quite what I want, but we're still on like Cycle Decree, make it our opponent's problem mode. Looks like they're also on Cycle Decree, but that's just to find a land drop. There's no bodies attached to this one. They found a land drop, but we are going for this. Cycling. 1, 2, 3. No response. 1. Wait, not like that. Like this. That is my last decree, notably. So like man lands are going to be a big part of how we try to win. Couple dudes. Draw a card. It's another land that's phenomenal. On tap. Draw again. It's a mana leak, land, attack for 2. Now Dust Bowl is like, we just close the game if we draw Dust Bowl at any point. My opponent should pop this Standstill. I might pop it for them. Let's see if I can find End Step. Yeah, they have to go to cleanup now. So let's go float, make some mana, 1, 2. Factor Fiction, crack the Standstill. You may draw 3. They'll probably fight this tooth and nail so they don't have to discard. I guess not. I will take whichever pile has... I guess if they split it lands and spell, I just take lands, right? Like there's a Dust Bowl in this pile, which is insane. Giving me Dust Bowl plus Counterspell is insane. I will take it. All right, I'll draw. You have to discard like 3 cards. That's crazy. Why do they have Powder Keg in? I just realized they discarded a Powder Keg. You do not want that in this matchup. So we just kind of win the game if we find Parallax Tide, is what this looks like. We've also got so much permission. I don't know how our opponent actually gets back into this game. They are like super far behind now. Or we untap, we draw another Dust Bowl. That's like fine. Here's my Dust Bowl. Here's me going to combat. I'll attack with both my dudes. Beep beep. No need to Dust Bowl right this second. We can actually just chill. I think we don't need this chain right now. So we're gonna go to end step and we're gonna try to pitch the Chain of Vapor unless they do something. They don't. The reason I'm not Dust Bowling here is because I do want to have multiple pieces of like multiple points of interaction up and active, ready to go. Another land drop, sure. Meddling Mage. So do I interact with this? I don't even know. What could you name that I care about? I think I'm just gonna, if they name swords, do I care? No, that resolves, go for it. If they name swords, I just like force this Exalted Angel into play. They name Counterspell, great. End step, all right, let's start to break your mana up, sacrifice a land, target this Adarkar Wastes, 1, 2, 3, and we'll sacrifice basic planes. And then do we want to Swords the Meddling Mage now? I think so. White, Swords, Meddling Mage. Then they mana leak, and we mana leak back. 1, 2, 3, mana leak, your mana leak. Goodbye. On tap, take a draw. It's a Mishra's Factory. We're going to, do we start playing this a little weird? I think so. I think we're going to go, no, we don't have to play this weird. We can play this actually like super simple. We're just going to play Mishra's Factory. We're going to tap it, my Dust Bowl, and my Skycloud Expanse, paying a colorless mana, and we're going to morph this Exalted Angel. Go to combat, attack for 2. We've got Counterspell up. I don't know how our opponent gets out of this. Opponent seems to be a tight enough player, so if there's a way, I'm sure they'll find it, but I'm going to try to block off every single avenue back into this game. Port, cool. Swords to Plowshares. 4 in hand. Do I protect? I think so. Counterspell Swords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it the boy? Parallax Tide? Annul the Parallax Tide. Okay, cool. Good talk. My turn. Untap, draw. It's a Standstill. That's so fucked. Dust Bowl, tap it, and a Skycloud Expanse. Play Standstill. I guess I could have flipped this morph. I don't. Hopefully that doesn't punish me. I can also. Did this just come into play? What did I just play? This Dust Bowl? That's newly controlled. Yeah, we can tap here, fire up this. Wait, maybe that's greedy. No, if we don't fire at Factor, we can hold up Counterspell if the draws for Standstill. Yeah, we just get busy. Attack with all, take 4, and then you can go. Looks like they're passing. Can I Dust Bowl and hold up 2 mana? I sure can. Let's do that. Dust Bowl, sacrifice. I'm going to start attacking their... I guess I'm just attacking like this Adarkar Wastes. Tap for 1, 2, 3. And then I will sacrifice my redundant Dust Bowl, I guess. Yeah, it'll just be the redundant Dust Bowl. They Stifle, we like draw 3. That's great. Stifle, perfect. I will draw 3 cards. That's 2 tides. I don't care. You can keep it. On tap. Draw for turn. It's an island. Let's do this. 1 for these, this, and a blue. Here's a Parallax Tide, dude. Counterspell with only 2 mana up. Well, Counterspell your Counterspell. Tide? We good with the Tide? I mean, they're probably not good with it, but it's what's happening. Okay, I just need their lands mostly out of play for a couple turns. So what I'll do is I'll hit, let's see if they, no, I'm not even going to bother seeing if they swords. Let's take out the Adarkar Wastes, if you will, Faerie Conclave, and Island, and I guess Plains as well. And then we'll get busy, attack with all my dudes. And next turn, I'll just flip Angel and kill. I think that's the shape of that. Pass to you, opponent. I guess like Chain of Vapor could technically get us in trouble. Pass into me, I will untap. Tide will fade away. That's a Standstill. That's crazy. Let's play this island. Let's actually play the Standstill as well. Standstill? Then I guess we got to stop tapping that white. I guess we're just like getting, I could have activated Factory, but now they can port it. So I think weirdly, I'm like, ew, I may have fucked that up like really bad. Combat, attack with all of my things, bring it to 2. And then I guess high key, I also just want to like play a second Tide, honestly. No, that'll crack my own Standstill. That's so stupid. Let's just pop this port. Tapping 1, 2, 3, and sacrificing a basic island. All right, go ahead, opponent. They're passing. We're about to attack for so many damages. You can have your lands back. And then we drew Counterspell, so we're just going to man up the Factory by tapping for a blue. Go to combat, attack with everything. What you got, bud? Apparently nothing. 5-0. That is good enough easily for top 8. So I guess we'll be back with the top 8 matches in a moment. All right, we're going into the semifinals. And we get to be in the play because it's done by seeding. And I am in, I think I was in 3rd place, or no, 2nd place going into the top 8, which rules. So I will play first. All right, let's take a look at this hand. We've got Island, Mishra's Factory. We've only got 1 of our colors. That said, we've got 2 mana leaks, but with no way to draw cards. Oh, hello, good luck, have fun. Hi, you too, exclamation point. Love your vids. Oh, thanks. Congrats on top 8. I think this hand's ultimately just like, if I was on the draw, I'd even consider it, but I have to rip land immediately, so we're going to mulligan. This hand, similar issue. Actually, this hand's blockier, but I can cast Counterspell and Swords to Plowshares, so we still need to draw land, but it isn't threatening to all fall apart in our hands. On the play, I think Parallax Tide is generally better against more decks, so I guess we're going to put back the Humility and hope to draw lands. All right, we're going to lead on, I guess, Adarkar Wastes. Hope we don't get wastelanded. No clue what our opponent's on. Underground River. Ooh, might be a little Psychotog action. Duress is fine. We'll F6 that. If they take swords, I'm going to typecast them immediately as Psychotog. Best top deck here by a mile, Standstill. They took my sword, so I'm putting them on Psychotog. Mana leaks like fine. We'll just play this island and pass. Ooh, Yavimaya Coast. Might be a combo deck. Maybe Angry Hermit or Angry Druid. All right, there's the Hermit Druid. We're going to actually burn the Counterspell because they don't know about the mana leak. So Counterspell the Druid. Pass to me. On tap and draw. Land is so awesome here, but play it and pass. I'm willing to bet they just like reanimate the Hermit Druid here. I'll have to Counterspell that because I don't have an out for it. Gemstone Mine. 1-2. Survival. Well, I can't deal with that either. This is very likely full English breakfast at this point. Let's mana leak the Survival. Can't deal with that. Our hand's stuck with a couple of 4-drops, which is not ideal. Now it's 3 4-drops. Now we're just kind of in the draw land waiting room. We definitely got a little bit clunky in the mid game here. Another land. Blue, black, blue, blue. Volrath, Shapeshifter, Hardcast? Yes, that's fine. This is cool with us. Things have fallen apart a little bit for our opponent if they had to Hardcast Shapeshifter, so we don't feel too bad yet. Maybe we just like Wrath it next turn. It wouldn't be that insane if they were able to just win on the spot depending on what's in their hand, because they can just pitch a card with Volrath Shapeshifter right now, so it'll depend on their hand. Looks like they're not doing anything currently. Just passing. Seal of Cleansing off the top? Oh, really? That's not fair. Well, if they can't kill us now, we're looking yummy. Seal of Cleansing. You can go. Please don't Cabal Therapy Parallax Tide. That would be really cool if you didn't do that, opponent. Begin combat. Probably don't attack for 0. Pass to me. Here we go. Take a draw. Swords to Plowshares. Blue, blue. Whatever. Parallax Tide. Does this deck play Permission? No? Cool. Activate Tide. Hit the Gemstone Mine. Respond. Hit the Gemstone Mine. Respond. Hit the Yavimaya Coast. Respond. Hit the Underground River. And then with all these on the stack, I'm going to sacrifice Seal of Cleansing to hit the Parallax Tide. With that trigger on the stack, I'm actually going to activate Parallax Tide once more, and I'm going to hit my own Adarkar Wastes. And then no response, I'll let that resolve. And then now that it's under it, Seal blows it up. Looks like they're tapping for some mana, 2 mana to be exact, that's fine. And then I'm going to get my land back. And then they've got 2 mana floating, so they're probably going to pitch something here. They're going to lose all their lands. Then we'll see what they've got for 2 mana. Discard something. All right, with that trigger on the stack to discard a card, I guess just to be safe, I'm going to Swords to Plowshares the Volrath Shapeshifter. Now they have to discard a card anyway. Squee! That makes sense. All right, now, technically our opponent, if we just never draw anything, our opponent can just like draw land and still kill us, but we've got a good chance now. Reflecting Pool is a blink. Love to see it. Take a draw. Skycloud Expanse is like fine. We're not going to bother playing out this Tide. We'll just wait a little bit. Lawmore Waste is quite good. Hermit Druid, not great. We can Wrath it though, so it's also not the worst. Take a draw. It's a Dust Bowl. Okay, we're going to play the Dust Bowl. We're going to Wrath because we kind of have to. I guess we could like, it costs 1 to do that. They probably can't do the thing yet. I wonder if we're actually just supposed to like, how much mana could they possibly make? I think I'm just going to Wrath for safety, but we might not actually have to. I might be like panicking about this Hermit Druid too much. Wrath have got it. Pass to you. They keep making land drops, which is not great for us. 1, 2, lose a life. Hardcast Squee here? Yeah, that's Hardcast Squee. Okay, F6. Flooded Strand, not the greatest draw, but I suppose what I want to do now is start wiping out their lands. I need to do it now. So I'm going to sacrifice a land to destroy the City of Brass first to choke them down on colors. We'll tap for this, and then float a colorless, and then a blue, and then 1, 2. And then the land we'll sacrifice will actually be this awkward Skycloud Expanse. And then we'll just pass the turn. Squeeze gunning it. He sure is. Squeeze going for it. The good old 18 turn beatdown. Ooh, they play a land. Now we're going to Dust Bowl this Treva's Ruins probably. We draw Mishra's Factory. Not bad. That's going to protect us from things. I think we do want to... I think we just stay to this plan of blowing up all of their lands for now. Yeah, we'll go hit the Treva's Ruins. Tap for 1, 2, 3. And comfortably sack this island. And then we'll just pass. We just need to draw like a way to turn the corner here, whether that's a fact or fiction or a decree, whatever. But this Dust Bowl doing some work for us. There's the Wastes. F6. Yeah, they're too smart to attack there. Standstill. That'll do it. We'll tap for 1, and I guess we'll fetch here. Go grab a basic. Do we need extra white? No, we'll just grab an island. And we'll tap for a blue, and we'll play Standstill. Then I guess we're just gonna... Do we just keep blowing up their lands? Do I even care about attacking? I don't think so. We're just gonna blow up this Lawnmower Wastes. Tap, tap, tap. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 blue sources. I'm fine just like losing an island. And then F6. There's a City of Brass, sure. Tap for a black. Are we unearthing the Hermit Druid? It looks like it. That's going to pop our Standstill. No response to that. Wrath of God is great here into this play. Attack for 1 is very free, but they don't for some reason. I would have. On tap. And the opponent, Cask 1, watches the vid. So sweet deck selection. Congratulations on top 8ing with this deck. It's very sick. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. I think that's very cool. We kind of don't want them to just like activate this Druid. I'm actually very comfortable just like taking the turn off, chilling out, just casting me a Wrath of God, right? Yeah, I don't want to lose more lands to my Dust Bowl just yet. I'm just going to take out the Hermit Druid. I've got these decrees now. Oh, they concede. Okay, I thought we were going to play for longer. Begin sideboarding. All right, we're going to bring in this matchup, kind of similar to what we do against the Angry Ghoul deck. We're going to bring in, because I think this is Hermit Feb. We're going to bring in 2 Annuls, because so we can counter the Survival of the Fittest on the draw. 2 Tormod Crypts. They use the graveyard often in the combo, so it's just nice to have. Disenchant's going to be very good. And then Wrath of God, a little bit weak. Stifle, kind of weak. It like has some application, but I'm just not interested in it. Same thing with Decree. It's just a simple 5 for 5. And Submit. Squeeze, gotta bet someone. Lost game to Dreadnought to time. I had the last pink trigger on this deck and timed out. That is awful. You're supposed to be high seed. That sucks. All right, looking at this hand, there's no mana sources, so that's a pretty easy mulligan. This hand has Annul, so we pass the turn 2 survival check. Chain, so we kind of pass the Hermit Druid check. And double Standstill, I think we're just going to keep this. Awkwardly, what are we pitching? Is it ever 2 Standstill? Like, do we want 2 Standstills? Keep. Let's see, what do we want? We want Annul. We want Chain of Vapor very badly. We want both of our lands. We want Mana Leak, I think. So yeah, it's just the redundant Standstill. It's pretty easy, actually. Redundant Standstill to the bottom, done. A lot more wastes. They're probably going to duress me. I wonder what they'll take. Just a birds. Okay. So we're definitely putting this island into play just so we can annul if they randomly have the survival. I say randomly, but like it would not be random at all. They probably really value turn 1 survival. Here's the island. Flooded Strand is a welcome addition to our hand. If all they can do next turn is go for a survival and I can annul it, then we can slam the Standstill into play, which would be so good. 1, 2, survival. Boom. Annul. The survival. All right. Looks like that's exactly what's happening. They're passing. So we'll take a draw. And yeah, Flooded Strand. There's no white in our hand right now. We don't have double blue either. I will just get a Plains. Basic Plains. Tap for 1, 2. Here's my Standstill. F6. They don't have any damage sources in place, so we're just like safe. City's fine. Passing to me. F6. Attack with the birds. Come on, you can do it. Coastal Tower taps. Now we're just big chilling, waiting for our opponent to do anything. Now we've got Mana Leak up as well, so when they do get around to cracking it, we can just Mana Leak whatever they cast, especially since they're missing land drops. We won't show our Dust Bowl yet. Here's just a Plains past the turn. Double Mana Leak up is pretty brutal. Very good for us. Opponent's just passing. End step. Yep, all on tap and draw. That ain't a land, but I'll take the Dust Bowl. Pass the turn. I can play draw go for nearly an infinite amount of time, which is pretty good for me. Looks like they're going to have to crack that Standstill finally. Survival of the Fittest. Trigger Standstill. No response. I will draw 3. And now they only left 2 mana up, so this Mana Leak is just like free real estate. They could like pitch maybe a Spirit Guide from their hand if they wanted to. Looks like they're going to go for a runner. Wall of Roots. That is actually fine. We're just going to play a Humility next turn, holding up blue. take a draw. Let's Seal of Cleansing. That's great. We'll play the Mistress Factory. We'll tap this for a colorless, white, white, Humility, and then pass the turn. This is very lucky for us. Our hand developed exactly the way we needed it to. This Wall of Roots is a 1/1. This Birds of Paradise is a 1/1. So right now, they can like attack with their birds and wall, which they couldn't do before. But I'm going to untap with the Mistress Factory and shut that down immediately, which is going to be very good for me. I go to 17, they pass. So we're going to take a little untap, a little draw for turn. There's a Decree. That's not fair. That's like the best possible draw. We'll pass. Opponent got this far, so I don't think they're just going to like attack into our, they're going to cycle Honor, if that makes sense. I don't think they're going to attack into our known Mishra's Factory, so we don't have the dream of like cycle Decree, wipe their board, but we're probably going to cycle the Decree anyway. 1 black. Cabal Therapy. I wonder if I counterspell this. Each card in my hand has a different name, so I'm not going to respond. That resolves. I decided not to stream this. That way my opponent wouldn't Cabal Therapy and always hit if I was live. Because, you know, if you know my hand, it's really easy to name a card that's in there. So we're recording it. But let me know if you guys want to see one of these live. I don't even know how we do that because there's so much downtime between rounds. Would they name Parallax Tide? Yeah, I don't have that. Lucky me. Now they can sacrifice something to flash it back. And like, I probably just respond by cycling Decree. Perfect split. Yep, it is. My hand was perfect against Cabal Therapy. GG. Good luck in the semis. Thank you. GG's. All right, we got there. Opponent concedes. We're going to the semifinals, which is very cool. I think this matchup is very good for TideStill. So I don't think our opponent did anything wrong at all. I think they actually sequenced just fine. I just kind of like had everything and got lucky where I needed to, which is getting lucky in Magic the Gathering, shocker, is a very good thing. Let's get into the semifinals. All right, we're about to go into round 8, which is the semifinals of this event. And really quick before we get into it, our timer's got 15 seconds left, but these are the standings. And I am at 6-1 in first place. So I think I'll be playing, if I'm not mistaken, Foster the Dave, which if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure was the Dreadnought player we played earlier in the tournament. And I'll be on the play. So hopefully being on the play, knowing the matchup, I can kind of navigate it. I didn't keep perfect track of my opponents. I probably should have, but we're not. We're playing against onlylands.com, which is another player I played. Were they playing Oath Ponza? I think so. Here we go. I get to be on the play. This hand has Standstill, Chain, and Reasonable mana. Regardless of the mana, the matchup, we're just going to be like keeping a hand with a decent spread like this. Keep. Also 2 basics if this is the Oath Ponza matchup, which I think it might be. All right, we're going to open on Island. We might even Chain of Vapor a Mox Diamond if we have to. Oh, nope, this is the, I think this is the other Dreadnought player. So maybe I was right. This hand's still fine against Dreadnought. I think I do want to just get this Standstill into play. My opponent's likely going to be forced to crack it. So we're going to go Plains and do a Daze check. Standstill, you got that Daze on you, dude? Blue, opt. I'm F6ing. I can't. If they have Daze, they have Daze. All right, Standstill's in play. We've got double Chain of Vapor, although we can't deploy both. So if they have the combo, it's like a little tough. Looks like they don't. And we have Mishra's Factory. So this is not a bad way to start our semifinals match. We will play out a Mishra's Factory, and we're just going to pass the turn. If our opponent never does anything, we've got Dust Bowl and Mishra's Factory, so like we're just going to draw cards as we go. If our opponent like cracks the Standstill end step, we're stoked about that. All right, great. Trigger Standstill, I'll draw 3. And let's see, I've got the Parallax Tide combo wrapped up right now. This Wrath of God might be a little bit difficult to convert. I've got these Chain of Vapors at the ready. I think this is fine. No response to the impulse. I think we're probably just pitching Dust Bowl because we've got Factor Fiction and Standstill, and Dust Bowl has very little text in this matchup. We've already got a factory to block the opponent's factory, so we're just pitching the Dust Bowl. We want as much material in our hand as possible. Third land, we going for a Dreddy. We're going for a Portent, that's fine. Portent, probably one of my favorite cards in this format. I thought about playing Dr. Teeth for this challenge event, but ultimately I was like, I'm a blue-white guy. I haven't played blue-white Standstill in a serious event ever. I always switch to something else last minute. So I thought, let's just play Landstill for this event, or specifically TideStill. And so far, not bad. All right, did they shuffle? They did shuffle. That's good. All right, we're going to go to our turn. They're going to draw back up to 7. We're going to draw it to 8. Mana leaks fine here. We're going to play this Flooded Strand. And I think we might try to trade our Standstill for something. That way we can fetch freely. So here's what we'll do. We'll go blue, colorless. How about the Standstill? They're going to full-on counterspell it. That would make sense. They're going to gush. That does not make sense. I think gushing here is not the best idea. Now I might just like mana leak a foil. Although they could just stifle my fetch, so I probably just let it go. Like play Standstill, be super stoked about, this like 4-for-1. All right, you got it, buddy. Go ahead. You are up. You're down on 1 land, going up to 2. Seems good. No Dreadnought yet. We're just chilling still. Hand looks really good. We've got plenty of ways to interact with Dreadnought. Drawing this island might be among the best draws we could have drawn there. Flooded Strand puts us in harm's way for Stifle. Just like double chain, Parallax Tide. If they tap out for anything, we're just going to try to Tide combo. If they gush in response, same thing's achieved. They just don't have very many lands in play. We've got the Tide. We've got 2 Chain of Vapor. So if we need to use one as interaction, we totally can. Here comes a Dreadnought. This Dreadnought, I think I'm going to interact with in kind of a weird way. I don't want to burn my only counterspell on it. So I'm going to let the Dreadnought itself resolve. Let them tap this land so I can go fetch for another blue source. There's the Vision Charm, so we'll fetch now. Go get basic island. We just need a myriad of blue sources to do the Tide combo. Then we're actually going to Chain of Vapor the Phyrexian Dreadnought. They might just let this go. Looks like they're going to foil. That I'm going to tap for a white and a blue, and I'm simply going to Mana Leak foil. And then Chain of Vapor resolves. Very good. They've only got 4 in hand, and one of them is a Phyrexian Dreadnought. Vision Charm does its thing. We don't particularly care. All right, well, let's see if we can bust up their mana situation. Island's a great draw. We'll play it. And then, yeah, we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is a Parallax Tide. Yeah, I think we want to do that here. If they gush, it kind of achieves the same thing. All right, we're going to hold control, which we're doing now. Target the island, target this island, tap for blue, Chain of Vapor, target the Parallax Tide. With the Chain of Vapor on the stack, we're going to activate Parallax Tide, tucking my own island. We're going to activate it once again, targeting my own other island, and then a third time targeting this island. Then I will have no responses to anything. We're doing this so we can get an on-tap, so we can get rid of our opponent's lands and just resolve Fact or Fiction. I will not copy it. I will get all 3 of my islands back, and then you do not have islands, or do you have Gush? Nope. Their lands are just gone, meaning we're free to just cast this Fact or Fiction, which is very good for us. Counterspell swords, the split doesn't really matter. I'll just take the bigger pile unless they go land spells, then I'm just taking the spells. This is an absolutely deranged pile. We'll take the big one. I have no clue why they thought this would be a good way to pile this out. And then we'll F6. We got our land drop sorted out. We got Counterspell, Wrath of God, Parallax Tide, all the good stuff. 1 basic island. You got a Portent. Looks like no. We're probably good to start attacking with the factories here as well. We'll play one of the lands they know we have. We'll tap for a white mana. We'll activate this factory, and we'll simply just get busy. Beep, beep. And then if they make their next land drop, maybe we even just value Tide. Although that's probably a little bit ambitious. We're probably just going to like chill for a bit. They find island number 2. They play Powder Keg. Yeah, I don't care about Powder Keg. That resolves. I just can't like freely attack with Factor anymore. I think that's fine. Standstill is a great pickup here. We're just going to go island, tap, tap, Standstill. You cannot win without casting a spell. So the Standstill will just find me cards. If they wait too long to crack it, I will simply cycle a Decree when I find it. No sweat. Passing to me. Great. On tap, draw. Counterspell, perfect. Skycloud Expanse, pass to you. Once we draw a second man land, we'll start poking with the factory to force them to pop the keg. That'll be pretty good. If we cycle Decree, they'll have to pop the keg, then we can get in with the factory. It's like all good for us from this point. We'll both just accrue infinite resources, which is like fine with me. Do they still have a Dreadnought in hand? I believe they do. Yeah, but there's a known Dreadnought in hand, which is like their only real way to win game 1. So my job's kind of simple. Don't let Dreadnought stay in play. And right now it looks like we're doing just fine at that. All right, my turn. On tap, draw. Parallax Tide, great. We'll have that in our hand for now. Play a land and pass. We'll probably fetch with both these Flooded Strands just to like narrow the amount of lands in our deck, so we can start moving towards drawing Decree, more man lands, things like that. End step, fetch with Flooded Strand. You can stifle this if you want. I legitimately don't care. Grab planes. And then there actually isn't another fetchable target, so we'll just leave this Flooded Strand in play, because they don't need to know that. There's my Decree. We're just going to pass. Actually, you know what? We're not going to cycle this Decree. We're going to start poking with the factory and see if they'll pop the keg. I changed my mind. All right, they're just passing. Great. On tap, take a draw. Counterspell's fine. Activate this for a white. Here I come. This telegraphs what I drew. It just doesn't matter. It's still so good. Attack. You will eventually have to pop this. They're doing it now, which I actually respect. I think that's a really good play here. We'll just pass it. Unstep will make 5 1/1s, and that'll be bad. They might have to stifle that legitimately. We'll see what happens. End step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cycle this bad boy for 5. Boom. You got a stifle. We floated all the blue, so if they do stifle, we'll just crack our Standstill, draw, and then we'll counterspell the stifle. AKA in response, no response to that, I'll draw 3. Double Swords, Wrath, I don't think we can lose anymore. All right, how about all these 1/1s? Gush, no response, you can gush. You're just gonna have to discard infinite cards, which I am A-okay with. All right, they concede, perfect. Let's go to sideboard. All right, we are simply gonna do the same thing we've been doing every time. I think when we played this player in Swiss, they were just like on heavy Dreadnoughts. So I guess that's kind of a good thing. I think the Tide plan's super good against me. I'm from the mono blue side, post board. But we're sideboarding this way either way for game 2 when we're on the draw. +1 Disenchant, +2 Annuls, first Exalted Angel in the deck. And then we are going to remove a Stifle. If they show us Brain Freeze, we'll bring it back in. Wrath of Gods coming out as just a 1-of and 2 Parallax Tides. We want to keep some Wrath of Gods because sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Just 1 for 1 a Dreadnought. After like losing a fight on the stack with like counterspells and mana leaks and swords, and then you just windmill slam the Wrath and get there. That's how we're going to sideboard this matchup. Let's go to game number 2. All right, opponents on the play, and our hand contains Disenchant, 2 mana leaks, Decree, and Exalted Angel. The Exalted Angel in our hand this early is kind of narrow, so it's kind of like a 6 already. And it's a 6 where if we miss land drops in this matchup, we're just going to get Tide comboed. I know 2 mana leaks looks enticing, but also this player, I think, is leaving most of their Dreadnoughts in if they play the same way they played in Swiss. So I am just going to mulligan this, even though it looks close. This hand has 3 lands, double swords. Yeah, this is an easy keep. We pitch the Wrath. Let's go. Island, yep, Portent. Island, nothing. Take a draw. It's a mana leak. Play Adarkar Wastes, pass. Another island. Smart to not just go for the combo right now. That would be unhinged. I think they might want to AK, so I'm going to get my Flooded Strand into play right now. That way, if they decide they want to tap for 2, I'll just get my free fetch. That way I don't have to worry about Flooded Strand getting stifled. That would actually be a nightmare here. All right, they AK, exactly how I thought it would go. Fetch, go grab basic island. I will never interact with an AK. There's like, they're just going to draw like 4 AKs is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So casting all 4 AKs is a +6. We just have to take that. We have to accept that that's going to happen. Looks like they're missing their land drop, which is quite good for us. Take a draw step. It's an island. We'll just play like blue sources for now. That way, if it comes down to it, when we get to the mid game, most of my lands are blue. We can win fights on the stack, or we can pick fights on the stack if they go for a Dreadnought, and then just swords it after losing the battle. Because it's very difficult to win a permission battle versus Dreadnought. We've only got 4 counterspells, 3 mana leaks, 2 annuls. But they've got like 4 foil, 4 counterspells, plus like sometimes a thwart, their own annuls post board. It's a lot. They have a lot that they can do. End step, MtGO on tap draw. They have to clean up. That's amazing. Powder keg to the bin. That's a standstill. I could cast and protect this standstill. I don't feel that I need to yet. I don't think that's a fight I need to pick. What I will do is get this Mishra's Factory into play, and I'm going to start poking them to force them to take actions. Because right now they're just trying to hold all their cards, and I need them to take actions. Because I can still lose from this spot even though they've missed multiple land drops. They pass to me. Take a draw for turn. Is it a land? That would be great. It's a swords. Okay, what I think I'm going to do here is poke with the factory the first time and leave up counterspell plus mana leak. Although if they go, no. If they make their land drop, they can go natural tide, and that's actually what kills us. So we're just going to pass. I take it back. 3 mana leaks, 3 swords to plowshares. Makes me really hope they kept their Dreadnoughts in. Portent's fine. They shuffled. That's good for us. F6. You draw off Portent up to 8. I will draw for turn. Here's a Mishra's Factory. Now I can kind of hold everything up. So what I'm going to do is, this is the one that just came into play. So I will fire this up using this one. And I'm just going to start getting busy. Opponent, you have to do something. I now have a clock. I've got Counterspell, Mana Leak wrapped up to fight on the stack. If they can beat that using like foil plus like daze and get a Parallax Tide into play, that's just the world we're living in. It's tough, but it's the way it is. If they pick a big fight and lose it, we're just windmill slamming or standstill into play next turn. That's like pretty easy. But they have 8 cards in hand. So like if they have like a gush or something, they're going to be able to tide us. We just have to kind of hope things go right for us. Being on the draw in this matchup is very difficult. There's the Parallax Tide. So the first thing we're going to go for is white, colorless, mana leak, tide. They're going to gush in response. I have no response to that. Here's to hoping they don't have foil. They do. Here's to hoping they don't have daze or a second foil. Blue, counterspell. We're just going to hit the Parallax Tide again. Misdirection would also be problematic here. Okay, that resolved. So now we're going to windmill slam this standstill into play now. Force our opponent to do something. Hope they don't have a second Parallax Tide, because if their plan's Dreadnought, we've got that wrapped up. Tap for, how much blue do I want to leave up? If they want to do something, they crack my standstill. So I think all of it. We're just going to tap like this and wait, not like that. We have to tap a blue. So like this and this. Here's my standstill. What do we think about that? It's good. Pass. I've got factories plus decree, so we're like slotted to gain some advantage off of this. This decree should be very good. They're just passing. Great. I think if we draw land, we'll plan to cycle decree. Tap land, not so much. So we'll wait on the decree. We're just going to poke. Tap for white. And we're just going to poke for 1. And then we will pump it. We're going to feign having counterspell plus swords to plowshares. Hopefully change up the way our opponent plays against this. After that, we're just going to pass the turn and cycle the decree to see if they'll stifle. Because if they want to start literally anything, they have to crack the standstill, which is good for us. We're paying costs on something. They want to cast a little spell. All right, there's a Dreadnought. Trigger the standstill, draw 3. That's 4 swords to plowshares. That Dreadnought will not make it. It just resolves. We're going to Vision Charm. That's fine. I'm not even going to fight it here. I'm going to do everything in their upkeep to try to get them to tap as much mana as possible. I want them to get a full untap and then just start targeting that Dreadnought on the stack. They pass to me. I will untap and take a draw. Wrath of God's like not great. Our hand is mono white, which is actually not a good place to be in this matchup. We've got a stop set in the upkeep. We're going to keep as much mana up as possible to play around like dazes and stuff, and we'll just let them untap. Dreadnought phases back in, and now while they're at their lowest point resource-wise, we'll Swords to Plowshares that Dreadnought. Counterspell, we are going to Swords to Plowshares that Dreadnought. They're going to foil. I'm going to, you guessed it, Swords to Plowshares that Dreadnought. All right, they went pretty deep on protecting it, so this is very good. Very unlikely they'll be able to do like anything meaningful this turn. Even if they have like second Dreadnought, second Enabler, they just go to Hellbent, so we like, do not care. Take an untap, a draw. Seal of Cleansing is actually kind of awesome here. I will take a moment to just get it into play. I wonder if they counter this. I mean, if they don't have any other way to win, they probably need to. All right, they don't. All right, here comes Factories. Like, I am just going to get in with these. There's no stone cold, no reason not to. Man both of them up. We're not going to cycle Decree till we can maximize it with a full on-tap step. Attack for 4, start whittling you back down to a normal life total, and then pass to you. They play Dreadnought and protect it here. If they use a Stifle, we're just going to go for Wrath of God first to try to maintain the Seal of Cleansing. That way, if we draw our Parallax Tide, they're just done. All right, take an untap. Draw Humility. That's like fine. We're just going to pass. Like, we're slotted to just cycle this Decree 4/5 and put them on the old 5/4 turn clock even. All right, you want to Stifle, opponent? Here comes my big gun. 1, 2, 3. Stifle, no response. See, the nice thing about this is they just went down a card. I still get the draw. All right, my turn. Untap. Draw. Flooded Strand. I want to Stifle this. I'm just going to see if they Stifle this real quick. All right, they don't. So I don't think they have one. So yeah, I won't attack with Factories. I'm just going to try to cycle for 6 at their end step. Also, having Mana Leak here is messed up. All right, they're passing. We can't Mana Leak Stifle, so we'll just try to do this for the full amount. Luckily, they have to Stifle before I pay, which is really good. All right, another one. This one will be for 6. Stifle? Yeah, I can't stop you. It's gone. I'll just take a draw. All right, Fact or Fiction? I guess I can do it on my main phase with Mana Leak up. Yeah, we're going to do exactly that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fact or Fic. 1, 2. Counterspell. Nah, we're not gonna do that one. I want my cards. I will now resolve Fact or Fiction. A couple counterspells, 2 lands and a seal. You'll just give me 2 counterspells. I'll take them. All right, you're up. Portent, sure. God, I love Portent. If they keep doing challenges for Premodern, I'm definitely doing one with Psychotog. I love it so much. I do have a trophy with Mono Blue Dreadnought. I got my first trophy with Dreadnought. My second trophy so far at the time of recording for this video was done with Tinker, Welder, Prison. Another land's fine. Now it's just time to like turn the corner, I guess. Let's tap you and then make mana to activate this factory. Let's do it again. Combat, full send, holding up 3 counter spells. You're at 19, pass to you. Another land drop is like fine, who cares? Untap, take a draw. Annul is actually phenomenal. Let's turn this factory on. Can we hold up all 3? 1, 2, 3, no. If we activate this factory, we can't. Is it just free to hold everything up? Yeah, I don't think they're going to find a way out. I'm just going to attack. Now I'm going to be extra paranoid. I think the only way we lose now is the brain freeze. Another land, sure. Pass to me, on tap, take a draw. Disenchant? Yeah, it's kind of like stuck in my hand. I guess we're just going to yeah, I think I should have attacked with both last turn. I'm going to fix that now. I'm not going to keep misplaying. I'm just going to fire at both of these. I don't think they have Brainstorm. At least I haven't seen it from this player yet. Or Brain Freeze, rather. But if they do, I don't want to lose by a turn. I've already messed it up by missing out on 2 damage. So I think I'm just going to continue to hold up 3 counter spells. If they go for a Parallax Tide line, holding up Daze, I can play around it if I use Annul. We'll just pitch Wrath of God. Because as it stands right now, this is just a 4 turn clock? Pretty solid. On tap, draw. Standstill's great. Do I even need to play it? I guess it's almost free to. Kind of plays into the brain freeze plan though. Let's just get these both awake. I'm just going to go to discard. I'm not even going to bother. Wake up. All right, they're conceding. Wow, I did not expect a concession there. I thought I had to fight to the bitter end. Well, that was the semifinals, meaning that next up we're going to be playing to try to win this challenge, which super glad I decided to turn the camera on for this one. Kind of rules. Alrighty, I'm high seat versus my opponent here, it looks like, if this leaderboard's to be trusted. So I believe we're playing the finals on the play, which is a good place to be. Let's congratulate opponent on finals. All right, I won the die roll. Yeah, I'll be on the play. This hand has, I won't even say it, we're just gonna mulligan this. This hand, better. It's, this might be a 5 actually. Humility Decree, I have no clue what Blue Man 7 is on. We've got land drops, we've got Dust Bowl, we've got Stifle. Do we keep this? Do we try to stifle our opponent? What are we looking for on 5? I think if we find a 5 with Standstill, it's actually better than this. Because right now, what is this? We mulligan Humility probably. And let's look at the 5. If we mulligan to 5, we keep blue source, white source, probably Manland, plus Decree, plus Stifle. Stifle doesn't even really do anything on its own. No, I think we're going to mulligan this. It's tough, but I don't think there's nearly enough gas in this hand. We're going to 5. All right, this hand has counterspells, mana leaks. This is much better. We'll keep. We can't cast our counterspells, so we got to keep like Adarkar Wastes, basic planes. Mana Leak is the best card in our hand because it's the only one we can cast. Factor Fiction to refuel, and then from there, I think we're keeping a counterspell just to like hope that we draw lands. Here we go. I'm going to lead on planes just so I don't get wastelanded. I have no clue what blue mana's on. Little Gemstone Mine action. Could be a combo deck. Goblin Welder. Welder Tinker. I love this deck. This is a bad matchup for me, though. I'm not excited. Untap draw. Standstill. It ain't nothing. I can't really standstill into an open Welder, though, can I? I guess it's a 20-turn clock. I can't. Wait, I kind of can. The over-under on me not having a Decree or a Manland in the top 19 cards of my library, pretty low. Let's try to undo this mulligan. I will play Standstill in the face of a creature. F6. Something our opponent can do. They can't really get an artifact into play without casting one. So they can't, but they can go to like discard intentionally and set up the Welder. That's actually an interesting play they can make. I love the Welder Tinker deck so much. I want to beat it though, which is going to be tough on a mulligan to 5. Cast a spell. Yes. Mind Stone. Trigger Standstill. My mulligan's gone. That's fine. 2 more. Sphere of Resistance. Yeah. So we can still Mana Leak, which is very good. Although Mana Leak, until we deal with this Goblin Welder, not that good. Because they can just Welder whatever they tried to cast back into play. Here's an island. I think, legitimately, they still can't do anything with this. They can like draw all the cards in the world, but we've got a factory. So I'm going to awkwardly play this second Standstill at F6. We've got Sphere, Mind Stone, nothing super detrimental in play yet. They're super soft to the Tide combo. Our opponent knows how to stack their triggers. Love to see it. Bounce the City of Traders with the Croesus' Catacombs. Very cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thran Dynamo rules. I will crack the Standstill and draw more cards, which is just awesome. And then tap for 3. Will cost 3. Phyrexian Furnace. Yeah, it doesn't really affect us very much. Yep, I lose a Standstill. Crack it. Eat the Standstill. Go up to 4 cards in hand. I like it. Now you can like freely attack with the Welder. Unless you want to like, what are you going to sack to bring back Furnace? That doesn't make any sense to me. On tap, Decree is like fine. We're going to get this, man, we need to answer that Welder, huh? We're going to get the Mishra's Fact. No, they could have Sabo's Web. We're going to play this island and just pass the turn. What are we pitching? I think it might just be like Mana Leak. Yep, goodbye Mana Leak. Doesn't have any text with an active Welder in play. Like until I can develop a Swords, if our opponent wants an artifact to play, it's coming into play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tinker? Tinker I can beat. Yeah, Tinker we actually, they can like put their Thran Dynamo back into play, but we can actually beat the Tinker, which is great. Counterspell, Tinker, no. Now they can flip-flop to get Dynamo back, although their hand size is shrinking. Now those Mind Stones are redraws. Yep, here comes Furnace. So they don't want to go up on mana. They'd actually rather just draw cards, which I agree with. We're going to F6 here. We draw another Standstill. We're not necessarily interested in putting this in play yet. We actually just want to get a couple dudes in play. We're going to play Skycloud Expanse and see, we're worried about Winter Orb. Now, if they're going to Winter Orb us, they're just going to kind of Winter Orb us. We're looking for a few things, actually. I think we really want Exalted Angel. Exalted Angel, I think we need to be able to win this matchup. And right now, we're like horrified of Winter Orb. If they don't do anything super meaningful, we'll just Factor Fiction. We're not going to counterspell any artifacts. We'll only be counterspelling Tinker. They go to combat. They go to end step. Factor Fiction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paying for the tax on the sphere. There's a Swords. I would not be shocked if they split it Swords, everything else. The worst part, I'm going to have to take the Swords. I still don't agree with this split at all. Okay, this is like very good for me. I don't know exactly why they split it this way. Now I've got a lot of reps on the Tinker Welder deck, so like there's only 1 or 2 things they care about right now. The 1 or 2 things are, can I Swords them? And thing 2 is, can they get Winter Orb into play? Because once that Winter Orb comes down, it's like lights out for me. What are you doing? Just cracking a Furnace? That's fine. I don't use my graveyard at all, so this is like fine. And then you Welder back your Dynamo? Sure. All right, on tap. Draw. It's an island. We will play an island, I think, and then we will tap for a blue or a white, and then use that for Skycloud. We will Swords this Welder. See, now our counter magic works again, which is not good for our opponent. I can't just play the Standstill because it costs 3, and I need to hold up Counterspell right now. There's only a small handful of spells we actually care about. This Welder is awkwardly one of them. This is definitely difficult, because if they like slam Winter Orb, it might be lights out anyway. No, I think we just need to find the answer for this Welder naturally, potentially. Yeah, that's fine. Ancient Tomb sacrifices City. Looks like they're just passing. All right, we're not going to cycle this Decree for no reason. We'll just untap. There's a Seal of Cleansing. It's actually like somewhat relevant. It's going to stop them from being able to activate their Welder. So we'll play Mishra's Factory. Tap this for 2, then this for 1, then this for white to pay the sphere tax, and just put the Seal of Cleansing into play. Just get it in. That turns Welder off because both targets for Welder have to be legal at the time that they activate it. So if I were to Seal of Cleansing, like the thing they want to sacrifice, it will basically counter the Welder activation. Another city. You've got a lot of mana. This deck is good at producing mana. We just can't stop them from doing that till we hit the Tide combo. I wonder if I was supposed to counter that Welder. It's so hard because if I counter that Welder and they windmill, if they know what matters in this matchup, I counter Welder and they windmill slam Winter Orb. It's so bad for me. Another thing I can try to do is get them to 0 artifacts. Mishra's Helix. Well, I need to counter that and then stifle the reanimation with my Seal of Cleansing, I think is what I need to do. I don't like it. 1, 2. Ooh, I can Mana Leak. That's kind of sweet. Do they have anything floating right now? They don't. Mana Leak this. And then are they going to Welder it? Looks like no. I'll take it. Untap draw. Chain of Vapor. Literally perfect. Now I think I'm free to do this. Let's go blue. Tap this. And then Chain of Vapor, Goblin Welder. And then if they go to activate it in response, we'll nab whatever they target with the Seal of Cleansing. And now if they go to cast it again, we will counter it on the way down this time. All right, that's perfect. They're targeting the sphere. Now I have Counterspell up. So we'll pop this, targeting the sphere. This will stop the Welder from functioning. And then we'll bounce the Welder. Now I think I'd love to get Standstill into play, but I think I just want to pass. That way I can have Counterspell up, which I do have, right? I don't actually have Counterspell up. So we need to go, I should have left this up. That was a mistake. Okay, we'll go blue, colorless, and we'll just play the Standstill and hope we don't need Counterspell. All right, go ahead, opponent. Luckily, if they cast the Welder, it's going to crack the Standstill, so if I like draw like Swords to Plowshares or Wrath of God, I can just like let it go. No response. I will draw cards off my Standstill. It's a Wrath of God that can resolve. Parallax Tide 2. This is brutal. 1, 2, 3, Tangle Wire. See, that is also fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not quite fine. I can't quite Parallax Tide combo them still. So I think I like awkwardly need to counterspell this, which is really bad because if one of the last cards in their hand is Winter Orb, sheesh. No, I think I let the Tangle Wire go. No response. It'll slow them down a bit too. Tackers, end step. We don't want to hardcast the Wrath of God, but we might be, let me see. No, I think I just chain the Welder here. Chain of Vapor, Goblin Welder, playing basketball with it. And then I'm going to untap. Wire's going to do its thing. No response. I'm going to tap Skycloud, this, just hope they don't have Saba's Web. Hold up 2 counterspells. Another Skycloud, great. All right, now we're chilling. We need to find another way to enable the Tide, but I didn't want to I might be playing around Winter Orb way too hard. They have not had it up to this point, but I understand how quickly I lose. I've played this matchup from both sides, and whenever I'm the Welder Tinker side, the second Winter Orb comes into play, my opponent just stops doing things for the rest of the game. Another Welder. This is the Welder they've been casting. Now I'm gonna have to tap 3. 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2. So now I can actually board wipe the Welder and hold up Counterspell. So that's fine. I'm not going to burn up all my counterspells. Pass to me, untap, trigger the Tangle Wire. We're going to tap these 2 lands right here, plus this Skycloud Expanse. Deal. Draw Chain of Vapor. We're going to try to set up for the Tide combo next turn. Right now, what we're going to do is go blue-white like this, plus colorless and a white. And I'm just going to hardcast Wrath. Go ahead, opponent. They have to tap stuff to the Tangle Wire. Probably just Tangle Wire plus Ancient Tomb. That's exactly what they do. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana up. So there's only a small list of cards I'm willing to counter. This is actually, is this one of them? Weirdly, it might be. No, it's not. I'm just going to Tide combo. This is not on the list of cards that I'm willing to counter. Welder's a good one, but we've got, what we're going to do is tap 2. So just tap Conclave plus Factory. Then we're just going to Tide combo them. Okay, they're going to tap for 2 and play Shiv and Reef. That's fine. We've got 2 cards left in hand. Is this a Tinker? It is. That's so good. Counterspell the Tinker. You've got 3 up. Is that last card Winter Orb? It's not. Okay, I think this is just game over. On tap, Tangle Wire triggers. We'll tap this one and this one. We'll play the Coastal Tower. Here we go. We're going to tap for 2 using the white, and then we'll go blue, and then we'll do a colorless as well. And we will play Parallax Tide. That comes into play, and now it's time to Tide combo. We're going to bounce 1, 2, 3 lands on the stack, and with all those being targeted, you've seen this trick before, but we're going to do it. Chain of Vapor, target my Parallax Tide. That's on the stack. Now that we're here, we're also going to use the Parallax Tide to hit our own, let's say, basic island and our own tapped Adarkar Wastes. Then we're going to have no responses to the chain, so that goes back to our hand. And then we're going to sacrifice this Plains, and we're going to bounce the Goblin Welder. Goblin Welder will go back to hand. They have nothing to bounce for me. I got my lands back. We're going to wipe out all of their lands. Now I've got this Counterspell in this Decree of Justice. This is just lights out. Tangle Wire gets tapped to itself. They have no mana sources. Probably just concede here. Oh, they have an Ancient Tomb. Winter Orb, Phyrexian Furnace, I don't care about that. You got my thing. Pass to me. We aren't going to get cute here, I don't think. Unless we draw we'll get cute if we draw another way to Tide combo. We'll tap the Skycloud Expanse. We draw a Coastal Tower, we'll play it, and then we're just going to hold up our mana and decree and continue to hold up our mana. Easy peasy. Now we just need to play quick because this matchup goes long. End step, cycle. Tap like this, then like this, then like this, and 1, 2. I would like to make 5 1/1s, please. Would you like to concede to this? No? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. 5 1/1s. A fresh card. It's another Tide, sure. Now we're just going to value Tide. Untap. Tangle Wire doesn't do anything. Mana Leak's fine. We're going to go blue-white, tapping this for a colorless. Same thing here. Blue-white, tapping this for a blue. Here's a Parallax Tide. We're just going to munch this now so they don't have mana. And then we're going to get our clock going. Turn this on. And then we can't turn this on and hold up Counterspell, so we just go to combat. Attack with everything. Bring them to 11 and pass. Tangle Wire bites the dust. Activate Furnace, that's fine. Probably, no, they can't even crack it. We're just going to our turn, untap. This Parallax Tide is fine. Take a draw, we'll activate here. Then we'll also turn this on. Go to combat, full send. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Yeah, then I just like F6 to the next turn and attack with all my soldiers. They play Croesus' Catacombs and sack it, make a red, there's a Welder. I'm F6ing because nothing they do matters. All right, no response here. Take a draw, go to combat, attack with all my dudes. Kill you. All right, that's pretty good. Beating Welder Tinker game 1 feels hard, but we got there. They just never found Winter Orb. All right, we're not going to do a lot here. We're just going to sideboard in 2 Annuls and 1 Disenchant. They're an artifact-based deck. We're going to attack their artifacts. And then we're going to side out 2 Wrath of Gods. It really only hits, for the most part, the Welder. Other than that, all their pieces are like really surgical Tinker targets. And Tinker's not great versus a deck with a ton of permission. We also want to make sure that we can hit Defense Group because that's going to be a problem. We're also going to take out Stifle. I don't think stifling a Welder trigger is exactly good. It's not a good use of a card. It's not a good use of a mana. We just want to deal with the Welders before that becomes a problem. That's how we're siding. We'll be on the draw. All right, we're kind of looking for like turn 1 Annul, which we don't have. We do have a Seal of Cleansing. This hand isn't great, but we have the Seal of Cleansing, meaning that we can beat like Defense Grid, and we'll use the Factor Fiction to reload. This game's going to go long. I have a ton of land drops. I'm going to keep based on that. That does not mean this is like a great hand, but in this very matchup, I don't want to mulligan super duper low, especially not with our opponent mulliganing to 6. We'll keep this. Definitely on the looser end of keeps. I could actually be talked out of this pretty easily. Mind you, this is my 9th round in a row. I started doing this at like 7, and now it's like 2 in the morning. So, you know, the things we do for Magic the Gathering. Please don't play Welder on turn 1. They didn't. Great. Untap. Draw. Another land is not on the short list of things I want, but here's a Coastal Tower. Pass to you. Sphere. Tangly Wire. Ancient Tomb. You gotta have something good here. 2 for a Mind Stone, no response. Got another one of them Mind Stones, or like a Defense Grid maybe. Opponent tanking a bit. Now they're ahead on time by about 3 minutes, but if they lose that advantage, this game could go to nothing. That's an altar, which is fine because we just have this seal. So we'll play Island, play Seal, tap for a white and a blue, and then we will F6 to our opponent. You will not be altering us this game, sir. At least not without weldering it back into play. Because altar, obviously, if you're not familiar with Tinker, Welder, Prison, they borrow a piece of the combo from Flinker, Tinker Fling, where they have an Altar Dementia, and okay, that's a Tangle Wire, that's like fine. They have 1 Altar Dementia, and they have 1 copy of a Phyrexian Devourer. Sphere of Resistance is also fine. This really isn't a lock. They only have 1 in hand, so I'm gonna just like deal with this for now. No response. I'll tap 1, 2, take a draw. It's a Flooded Strand. We'll just play the Flooded Strand out. We're gonna start fetching. We're flooding out a bit, but not so much. Like we kept a 5-land hand. So we only drew 2 lands. So it's actually not that bad. Tangle Wire is going to do Stone Cold nothing to our opponent because they have many more permanents than we do. Tap for a red. Okay, there's a Welder. Can't do anything about that currently. We're just going to hold the Seal of Cleansing up. They're passing to us. We are going to fetch now. We don't want to get our fetch land stuck under a Sabo's Web. That would be very bad. So we'll get a basic island. Also pretty into the idea of having less lands in our deck right now. I can't do anything with this mana, so I will just tap it all to the Tangle Wire. Take a draw. It's another land. Eesh. Yuck. Here's a Flooded Strand. I'll pass to you. Our opponent still needs to draw into some stuff. Right now, they're just kind of like, they have permanents in play. They look good. But until they develop like some way to actually tax us, we're not worried. We're going to fetch now. I don't know why they would port here. I don't think it's necessarily that good. We're going to grab a basic island. Continue. Their Tangle Wire does its thing. They probably just tap Tangle Wire Sphere. That's exactly what they're doing. Here, they don't need to port me. I can't cast anything because there's a sphere in play. They can't combo me because I have a Seal of Cleansing. But if I can't deal with this Welder, they'll be able to set up the combo again, which will be bad for me. If we do lose, we want to lose quick so we have time for game 3, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4. They tinker. This is, I think we're dead now, right? They just get Altar. They just get Devourer. And then, well, I'll make them show me the Devourer. I can pop this on Altar now, but then they just Welder it back into play. Yeah, we'll just make them show it to us. We'll make them show it to me. There's the Devourer. All right, I do get to get a deck tech now. So we're going to open up their graveyard, nice and big. No, their exile is what matters. Nice and big. And then we're going to F6. They got an Icy, Tanglewire, we already knew that one. Tinker, Gemstone. I'll try to interject if I see something weird. So far, this might just be the list I've been playing. They do play the Karn. Mishra's Helix we already saw in game 1. There's one of the Warbs. I wonder how many Warbs they have. I play 3. I've seen people play 4, and I've seen people play like as low as 2. Defense grid, they did bring those in. That makes sense. And then, yep, nothing. Oh, they're going to still put on counters, sure. I'm not sure where they're at. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what's in their exile. Getting a free deck tech isn't something to scoff at. All right, they sack it to the altar. We mill out. Any order is fine. They get a deck tech for us too. Don't really care about that as much. I will let them look at it to their heart's content. Like my decks kind of face up, nothing special. Another thing this doubles as is them going through the combo has put them down on time. There is a chance game 3 just comes down to time. We'll see what happens. Our opponent's passing through to us. We can just concede now. You don't need to bother tapping a Tanglewire. We're up a few seconds, which is actually meaningful here. Close these out. And let's see if we want to change anything. I think on the play, I think we have enough answers to the Welder. I don't think that we want to necessarily bring in Hydroblasts. They might have Red Blasts of their own, so maybe like the first one's kind of okay-ish. What do we cut for it is a big question. I don't think I want to cut any of the Tide combo except for the Stifle. Maybe it's just like the Wrath of God is one of us fine. I think I'm just going to cut a single Decree and bring in a single Hydroblast, just as like a 5th Swords to Plowshares for their Welders, in addition to being a way to answer Red Blast coming from their side. Also, I'm going to need to pick up the pace, so if I get quiet, I'll... the way I edit these is weird if I'm too quiet, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to try to stay ahead on time, because like I said, if they prison us out and can't find a win con, it becomes an F6 war. And if you're the one ahead on time, you just win that war. Because Tinker Welder also prisons themselves out a little bit, but also if they're not resolving Tinkers, they aren't doing a whole lot. They're just kind of like locking the board down. I haven't seen a Black Vise. That's kind of what I was looking for when my opponent was executing their combo, is like, does your deck contain a Black Vise? I also think I'm just not interested in Angel in this matchup. The Angel seems enticing to wrap the game up very quickly, but I don't think I want to rush to actually kill my opponent. I would just like to Tide combo them. That's kind of my game plan, is to Tide combo the opponent. All right, we get to be on the play, so I will. This hand contains Mana Lake, Double Swords, Decree. I think this is fine. We can answer the Welder. We can answer like the first important thing that comes down, so we will keep. Turn 1 defense grid, we're kind of soft too, but that's just the way it's going to have to be. I think we'll dodge turn 1 Sabo's Web. No, I don't think we can afford to play around it. We're just going to put the Faerie Conclave into play. I don't want to get too fancy. Opponent mulligans to 6. First one's free. They're on the draw, so they get to go up a card before I do. Also, Tinker, Welder, Prison, mulligans like fairly well. They're also looking for very specific things like turn 1 Sphere of Resistance, turn 1 defense grid, turn 1 like Mind Stone. These are all very good plays. All right, they found a hand they like. Here's a Faerie Conclave and an F6. Ancient Tomb into defense grid F6. You got it. I can't do anything about that. We're just going to keep playing Mishra's Factory. We'll just play an island and pass. I will say this matchup's very hard if my opponent knows how to play it. And so far they've been showing great gameplay. So I am worried. This defense grid is problematic. Warb? That's bad. All right, my turn. Untap. Take a draw. Mana Lake doesn't do a whole lot. We'll just play a land and pass because we can't attack into that Warb using our Faerie Conclave. Now we're legitimately just like the only thing that matters from this point is like Tide combo, I think. This is like the perfect 1-2 from our opponent. Shivan Reef, sure. Tangled Wire would be miserable for us. 1-2, just a Mind Stone, sure. They're down to 3 in hand. I hope their hand's a little soft here. Their hand is not soft. Tangle Wire resolves. Now we are in deep shit. The only thing we're playing to for the foreseeable future is the clock. We're going to go grab a white source. We need that. My turn. Resolve the Tanglewire. 1, 2, 3. Draw a card. Play Mishra's Factory. F6. Your Tanglewire is going to do its thing. Tap 1, 2, 3. They know about the Winter Orb, so that's good. Passing to me. Very cool. We'll take an on tap. It doesn't particularly matter because I have to tap 2 to the Tanglewire. 1, 2. Draw a Standstill. F6. F6, they're going to do their own Tanglewire. Plays a land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mishra's Helix, yep. They've got me locked out. We'll untap this, then Tanglewire will tap it, and then I drew Chain of Vapor, so we'll F6. And we actually can Chain of Vapor soon, so we're just going to pitch Standstill. Now, what are we actually Chain of Vaporing? I'm not actually sure, because we're not going to Chain of Vapor Winter Orb just to have them recast it. We'll untap this, then we'll trigger the Tanglewire, we'll retap it, take a draw, play a tap Coastal Tower, worst possible, F6. F6 through their turn, they're just going to do Tanglewire things, and we'll see if they can find a threat. Now, luckily, until they develop a Thran Dynamo, they do have a bottleneck here, which is that, sure, they have the Rishon Import, but they can only untap 1 land a turn. So if they start Helixing plus Rishon Import, or like Mind Stone plus Port, or Mind Stone plus Helix, all I need, now that's a Tinker, that's very bad, but all I would typically need to do is, it's an altar? Okay. Well, if they just have it, they just have it. We will untap this Faerie Conclave. No, we will untap this Coastal Tower. They'll tap for 2. Now let's see here. They're going to be able to untap a land. They can get this altar back in play, but there's a non-zero chance that I kind of want to Chain of Vapor the altar of Dementia just to like see if I can stop them from comboing for a turn. Yeah, we're going to pop that back into their hand. And then you've tapped my thing. It's gone. Draw Flooded Strand. That's pretty good. We'll pass. They'll only have access to 3 mana here, so they probably can't tinker us. Helix is going to be a beating here. I think I'm maybe like, the only way I win is if they're preemptively getting their altar. That way, because if they don't have both parts of their combo, if they just go to get exactly the altar, then I can't Swords to Plowshares. Plowshares the altar. That's why they wouldn't like go get the Devourer first, because if I Swords it, it's just gone. So they can like get the altar into play, make that my problem. We're kind of just looking at drawing, let's see, we're not going to fetch. They're going to be able to Helix us. My turn. I will untap a Coastal Tower. They'll Helix us, which is fine. I don't have a response to that. We'll take a draw. Dust Bowl is fine here as well. We'll play that out. And then if they have it, they have it. There's really nothing I can do about it. We have to get like super lucky and they don't have Tinker and then we like draw Seal of Cleansing. That would be a way to not just get murdered here in the finals. Show me that Tinker, City, for 3. There's the Tinker. Well, I can't interact with this because of the defense grid. And there's the Devourer. GG's, Tinker Fling wins the whole event. We get the runner-up prize of 2nd. And to celebrate, I will let my opponent combo me. Man, should have put a Gaia's Blessing in my sideboard, huh? I just went on the spot here. Devourer triggers going crazy. Now, to be fair, the way we would have won this matchup is if we mulligan to like a null and we're able to answer the defense grid, then these mana leaks would have been very good. But like, if we mulligan, the first mulligan doesn't find us in a null, then like, what are we doing? We're just running the risk of having an unplayable hand. So I actually liked our keep. But definitely leave in the comments below if you think that there's like some things you disagreed with on the mulliganings, the things you disagreed with on like some of my plays. I know I made some obvious mistakes as well, but all in all, pretty stoked about 2nd place. Kind of talking over our opponent's celebratory combo, which rules. There's 0 chance they don't have 44 CMC worth of spells in their deck. Here comes the altar. There goes my deck. Any order. Devourer's gone. So is my deck. And then we go to my turn where I get a full untap and then I try to draw a card and then I die. And then we got 2nd place at the first set of Premodern challenges on MtGO. Pretty happy with the finish. Would have really loved 1st place. That would have ruled. But I don't know what qualifier points are, but we got 40 of them. 50 chests is like 100-ish bucks, which rules. And then 350 play points lets you like play infinite events. This is pretty cool. I love to see it. Congrats to the opponent who just demolished me on one of my other favorite decks. This is actually on the short list of decks that I would have played. If I had to guess, I can't wait till the deck drops happen because I want to see how their deck differs from the build I've been playing. This is my current build. I've been pretty happy with it. I did do a trophy. Unfortunately, I didn't record that one. I just kind of did it off camera. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. This was a blast. This is my first time recording like a long form tournament, 9 rounds. For YouTube. So if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't, I don't know. I guess let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will see you next time.